I'll take your bags in for you, mister.
The name is Kyle. Frederick Kyle.
Oh, yes, Mr. Kyle. We have your reservation.
Thank you. By the way, would you happen to know a family here by the name of Cartwright?
Who on the Washoe doesn't?
How would I get in touch with them?
That'll be pretty easy. Adam and little Joe are in town right now picking up supplies.
By little Joe, would you mean Joseph Francis Cartwright?
You call him that, you better be ready to duck. He's right inside.
Thank you.
Joseph Francis.
See you 5 and raise you 5.
I'll see that and raise you 5.
Tens over 5s.
3 6s. Maybe you do better next time, kid. All he needs a little luck.
He'd be better off with a miracle.
You care to explain that, mister?
That routine of yours is older than the wheel. And your partner here gives bad signals. It's all right, simmer down, young fella. It's a good thing to learn. You learned it cheap. Give him his money.
I can fight my own battles.
There's not going to be any battles.
That's right.
Give him his money.
You think carrying one wing's gonna keep me from mopping the floor with you?
Pick any reason you like.
It's pretty nice work, mister.
How much of this belongs to you?
I got about $70 in here. 70.
Not all of it. When a man learns a lesson, he ought to pay for it.
I'm Joe Cartwright.
Kyle. Frederick Kyle.
So I sure would like to repay you somehow.
Haven't had a decent meal since I left Kansas City. I could sure use a good steak.
I think I can fix you up Ponderosa style.
Put that thing away. What do you want to do? Shoot the man that's going to give us a money tree?
What?
I've seen that one before, back in Kansas. Can't be two men like him.
Who is he?
One-armed trouble. More trouble than this town's ever seen.
Kyle, I'd like to tell you again how grateful I am to you for helping little Joe.
For a meal like this, I'd do it every day.
You know, it's a pity you didn't get here a few days earlier. Then maybe little Joe might have had some money left over to spend the next time he goes into town.
You been cheated before, little Joe?
They don't have to cheat him to get his money, Mr. Kyle. He's the worst poker player on the whole complex.
Well, I'd like to make up that deficit in spending money. You see, I'm in the business of exporting gold and silver bullion.
You plan to buy silver ore here in Virginia City, Mr. Kyle?
My intentions precisely.
Well, you've certainly come to the right place, then. We're sitting right on top of a whole mountain of it here.
So I understand. But I must get to the various men who control that mountain of silver to interest them in my proposition.
Well, I know them all, Mr. Kyle. I'd be more than happy to show you around.
Well, I appreciate your kind offer, little Joe.
Well, if you're looking for help in high finance, Mr. Kyle, I'm afraid you done picked on the wrong Cartwright.
How do you mean?
Well, you see, little Joe's full of that hot southern blood that he can't get very interested in cold cash. Now, on the other hand, Adam over there, he's from New England, and he's just got a natural feeling for the jingle of cash.
And how about you, Haas?
Well, sir, I reckon I'm sort of from in between.
Haas's mother and I were on our way out west when Haas was born. Out in the prairie, just west of the Missouri.
You weren't alone, Haas. Many good men were born on the prairie.
Yes, sir. I just don't understand it. We're all from the same country here, and yet there's still all this talk about North and South. Where's the dividing line?
I'd say that the dividing line was in people's minds.
Well, that puts me in the middle, all right, because I ain't got no leaning either way.
You know, that's the trouble with you, Hoss. Now, you take older brother over here. He's from way up north. Me, I'm from way down south in Dixie.
Now, just blow the bugle when you want the war started.
All right, now. We all have our roots, and they're right here in the Ponderosa now.
Sometimes a man's roots and responsibilities go deeper than where he lives.
Isn't that sort of idea rather stale and old-fashioned, Mr. Kyle? When we came out west, we left that behind.
Can you ever leave behind an idea or an ideology? At any rate, little Joe, I most appreciate your kind offer of help.
Well, that's certainly the least we can do for you, Mr. Kyle.
Thank you.
Are you sure you won't have a cigar?
Thank you, no. I don't want anything to spoil the memory of that steak.
Well, I'll tell Hobson what you said. He'll be awfully pleased.
So it's ranches like this where all that good beef comes from.
Mr. Kyle, I know it's an overly used expression, but you do sound like a city fella.
Not by choice. But the cities are where one finds the houses of finance.
Yes. Yes, you're right there. Sit down, Mr. Kyle.
Thank you.
Used to travel a great deal to the cities. Yes. You still travel, I suppose?
St. Louis, New Orleans, New York, all over.
Nice cities.
Yes.
What about this trouble that seems to be brewing between the states?
Not trouble, Mr. Cartwright. It's a prelude to war. Civil war.
Now, do you really think it'll come to that, Mr. Kyle?
There's already talk that some of the states are seceding from the Union.
I hope we'll be spared all that grief out here.
Where did you say you were from, Mr. Kyle?
I don't believe I did say. But I'm from Kansas, and that's right in the middle of everything. Well, I think I'll turn in. Good night, gentlemen. I do appreciate your hospitality, sir.
Our pleasure, Mr. Kyle. Our pleasure.
See you in the morning, Mr. Kyle.
Hey, I've got express riders coming in like a scalded cat. Just don't seem to me like people get as excited as they used to, Paul, when the Pony Rider comes to town.
Well, you know, Hoss, people don't like to hear bad news. It's been getting worse all the time. Well, let's pick up our paper.
You're alive.
Hey, come on, wait a minute.
I'll kill that dirty Yankee, or kill him dead.
Hey, hold on. What's going on here?
I'll tell you what's going on. This dirty Reb said the North's not even fit to be in the same union.
Yeah, it is. Wait a minute. It's Virginia City. It's neither North nor South.
Maybe all that's going to change pretty soon.
Well, now, that might be true, but right now, you're just going to simmer down a little bit.
That one of the papers just come in town?
Yes, it is.
Well, there won't be no truth in it. Just poison. That paper comes from New York.
Let's hear what it has to say, Mr. Cartwright.
We don't want to hear no reading from a northern paper. That right? What's the matter with you, Rebs? You afraid to hear the truth?
Just hold on. If my Paul wants to read the paper, I reckon that's what he's going to do. Now, you just simmer down a little bit.
Well, the news has been mostly about one thing. That's a speech that Mr. Lincoln made last month in Springfield. I guess what I wanted to say we found right in the end of it here is the agitation has not only not ceased, but augmented. In my opinion, it says, it will not cease until a crisis shall have been reached and passed. Then he says, a house divided against itself cannot stand.
Begging your pardon, Mr. Cartwright. What's all that mean?
Well, Mr. Lincoln is saying that people come together because of the things they have in common, like friendship and love. And I guess it means that when they get so blinded by their personal beliefs that hate creeps in, well, then violence can't be too far behind.
Oh, that's nothing but northern lies.
They ain't lies neither. A nation ain't a nation if the states don't stick together.
Wait a minute, Luke. What if a state don't want to stick together?
And we fight to make them stick together.
For those of you who would like to have the news read from a Southern paper, I have here the Charleston Journal. Mr. Lincoln's speech has been hailed as a Southern victory. It is generally acknowledged that the first 10 lines of that speech have already defeated his bid for election. Here was Mr. Lincoln's reply to that opinion. If it is decreed that I should go down because of this speech, then let me go down linked to the truth. Let me die in advocacy of what is just and right.
You trying to tell us that a Southern paper would write a thing like that?
If you can read, see for yourself.
The South would never praise the thinking of a man like Abe Lincoln.
A man who honestly knows what he believes and has courage enough to act on it is a man deserving of praise from all men.
Now, we could have cut your heart right out, Mr. Cobb. We wouldn't want to do that. We just wanted to show you how handy we'd be to have around.
What do you want?
Well, our meeting before was a little informal. We thought we'd like to make it more proper. My name's Regis, and this here's Gorman.
What do you want?
Well, I guess you could say we came around to enlist.
Enlist? What are you talking about?
Why, the cause. What else? I remember you from Kansas, Mr. Kyle. Frederick Kyle, leader of the Free State movement in the South. Oh, making stirring speeches, all of them down the state. Swearing to die for the cause if you had to. Oh, you were mighty persuasive, Mr. Kyle. So much so that I've been thinking about you ever since. So you can see how pleased I was to see you had landed right here in Virginia City.
Come in.
Well, now, like I say, being a convert to the cause, I just naturally wanted to join up. And Gorman here, he always goes along with me.
Goes along with you in what?
Well, now, since Virginia City's sitting on a pile of silver, we thought maybe you were after some of it to help run the war.
Any particular war?
Well, let's say the one that's about to start. It don't much matter one way or the other.
It don't make much difference till you do it.
Well, now, Mr. Kyle, it's your war, not ours.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. All right. Talk.
We heard some of the mine owners might not want to go along. So we thought maybe we'd lean on them a little. Or maybe just keep you from getting hung to the highest tree. Now, we could be your own private little army, Mr. Kyle, for just, say, $5,000. Or what do you say, Mr. Kyle? For the good of the cause?
Talk to me about the cause. You dirty it every time the words come out of your mouth.
You laugh again and I'll kill you.
Gorman! Now, you hold it, you hear? Now, look, Mr. Kyle, we didn't come here to fight. We just want to talk business.
That's better. We talk business, not causes. Now we understand each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we understand.
Get out. When I need you, I'll send for you.
Now, you can count on us, Mr. Kyle.
Tom, over here, Adam.
Listen, Tom, you've seen little Joe around anywhere?
He was out making the rounds with that Kyle fella.
Yeah, but he should have been home by now. Where's Kyle?
He's up in his room, alone.
One arm of his don't slow him down much.
I told you, he's trouble, like the which this town has never seen.
What was that you said about him being a money tree?
He will be. Just as long as we all ride the same track.
I thought you said Kyle was in his room alone. Who are they?
Name's Regis and Gorman. They got a mean streak runs clean through. I hear they got out of jail just last week.
Now, what would a man like Kyle be doing with their kind?
And just what is Mr. Kyle's kind, Adam? Are you sure? Well, now, you got to admit he plays his business close to his vest.
Oh, somebody ought to know.
Well, my guess would be Little Joe. Mr. Kyle seemed to want to get friendly with him right from the start.
What do you mean?
Well, he was asking about Little Joe the minute he got off the stage.
Thanks, Tom. Bartender? Gentlemen, there's drinks on me.
Well, thank you, neighbor.
I'm Madam Cartwright.
Cartwright? Well, ain't we stepping high in the wheat?
My name's Regis. This is Gorman.
What about your other friend?
What friends you talking about?
Oh, the man with the money tree, Mr. Frederick Kyle.
You know about Kyle?
Easy, Joe. Here's a toast.
What does he want with my brother?
Like I said, here's a toast to small dogs and little old ladies.
Well, I don't know about Mr. Kyle, but I know about you. Both of you. And what I know, I don't like.
Well, we don't much care whether you like us or not, Mr. Cartwright. You just stay out of our way.
Your way or Mr. Kyle's way?
Well, let's say him and us are on the same side now.
Come on now, you'd be on any side that paid your price.
You want to make us a better offer?
No. No, I just want to be on the opposite side.
Adam, find Little Joe?
No.
That boy. He knows we've got that branding to do in the crest section. Well, he should be riding in pretty soon, I guess.
He was with Kyle again today.
I told him he could go. What is it, Adam?
I met two gentlemen today, a Mr. Regis and a Mr. Gorman. We had a toast together.
Yes?
You sweep better things off the streets. But they also happen to be friends of Mr. Fred Kyle.
What's on your mind?
Kyle didn't meet Little Joe by accident. He was asking for him the minute he got off that stage.
Who told you that?
Tom Madigan at the International House.
Mr. Hennessy, you sure you won't have a drink?
I don't drink, Mr. Kyle.
Well, it's a pity. It's one of the few indulgences a man has left.
What did you want to see me about, Mr. Kyle?
Well, I'm prepared to offer you a firm contract. I want to buy all the silver your mine produces.
I already have a contract with my brokers in San Francisco.
I know. But I'm willing to pay you a third more.
I said I had a contract, Mr. Kyle.
Say, Mr. Hennessy, aren't you passing up a pretty good deal?
I think you'd best keep out of this, Little Joe.
Well, Mr. Kyle's a friend of mine. You didn't even hear him out.
Forget it, son.
I don't want to forget it. What's the matter with the offer?
The man who's making it. I've heard of you, Kyle. I understand you have pronounced Southern sympathies. Well, my sympathies lie entirely in the other direction. Good day, sir.
What did he mean, bringing politics into this? I thought it was a straight business deal.
And so it is. We'll forget about him. Well, Little Joe, today just about did it. Most of the mine owners I'm after have been invited to next week's meeting. I'm very grateful to you for your help.
All I did was make introductions.
Which was plenty. Out here, it pays to have a Cartwright on your side.
How do you mean?
Well, when I knew I was coming out here, I'd heard, of course, of the Cartwright family of the Ponderosa. So I checked to see if it was the same family.
The same family?
Huh? I knew your mother, Little Joe, back in New Orleans, a long time ago. She was a very beautiful, a very gracious woman. And in many ways, you're much like her. So I thought perhaps you'd like to have this.
Where did you get it?
Doesn't matter. I've had it many, many years. She was a very beautiful woman, your mother.
She was. I want to thank you for giving me this.
Nothing at all, sir.
Well, tomorrow morning, bright and early, we'll get back to the rest of the names on that list.
Sure, little Joe. Sure.
Thanks again. And don't worry any about Mr. Hennessy. I think he'll come around.
I think he will.
So long, Mr. Carr.
Hello, Tom.
Evening, Ben.
Say, I was glad to hear your wife is feeling so much better. I'm looking for Mr. Kyle.
I'm afraid he's not in his room. You're a friend of Mr. Kyle's?
Well, I know him.
I see. Well, then we have that in common. My name is Lily Van Cleet.
Well, my name is Ben Cartwright. I believe you must be a stranger at Virginia City.
Just passing through.
Are you a friend of Frederick Kyle's?
Why?
Well, he's a very interesting man. I'd like to know more about him.
Then I suggest you ask him.
Yes, I suppose I should. You must be tired after your journey. May I offer you some refreshment?
Thank you.
You say you're just passing through.
I'm going to California. The West is such a wonderful land.
Well, it used to be.
Used to be.
All the trouble back east, it's seeping west. It doesn't belong out here.
Hate and misunderstanding have no place anywhere, Mr. Cartwright.
Oh, coffee?
Please.
2 coffees, please. Well, I hope things will be different out in California for you and your husband. You are married, aren't you?
I was once. And you?
Yes, I have a ranch. I live there with my 3 boys.
3 sons. How wonderful. What are their names?
Well, the oldest is Adam. The middle boy, we call him Hoss. Well, if you'd see him, you'd know exactly why. He's a pretty big fellow. Thank you. And the youngest and most impressionable, we call him Little Joe.
I named my son Joseph, too.
Well, if he favors you, ma'am, he's a fine-looking boy.
It's past tense now, Mr. Cartwright.
Pardon me?
Joseph is dead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What is happening in Virginia City happened in the East over a year ago. Joseph and his father were accidentally embroiled in a street fight. I lost them both that night. You are a very fortunate man, Mr. Cartwright. Be thankful for that. Hello, Fred. I told Mr. Cartwright we were friends, and I was just passing through and decided to stop over and say hello. Mr. Cartwright?
Mrs. Van Cleet? Kyle, I'd like to talk to you for a moment, please. Wait, please. When you came into town, you were looking for my son, Joseph. Why?
I had a photograph of his mother. I thought he'd like to have it.
Where did you get it?
I knew his mother. You don't believe me, Mr. Cartwright?
She's gone now, so that doesn't matter anymore. But my sons do. Now, I don't know what your intentions are, Mr. Kyle, nor what you're seeking to achieve here in Virginia City. But don't try to see little Joe again.
Blind with thine hair, the eyes of day.
Kiss her till she be wearied out. Then wander o'er city and sea and land. You see? I still remember Shelley. Well, I should. You've read him to me often enough. You know, a few more years and you might have made a literate man out of me.
Speaking of years, this is a sort of a special one for us. A man who can remember Shelley surely can remember his 20th wedding anniversary.
I do remember. 20 years. 20 years. And you introduce yourself to Cartwright as a friend.
Whatever it is you're here for, Frederick, I didn't want to spoil it.
There's nothing you can do to spoil it.
The daughter of a northern senator meets a lot of people. I don't think the cause of a southern sympathizer would be enhanced in case someone were to find out I was his wife.
Have you changed that much, Lily? That you could be interested in the cause of a southern sympathizer?
I still believe what I have always been taught to believe. No, Frederick, my beliefs haven't changed. Neither has my love for you. I was hoping that after whatever it is you must do here, we could go to California together. Oh, we could be happy there. It's a new land.
I heard that the day I arrived in Virginia City. But now I mean to take it into the camp of the Confederacy.
Oh, Fred. What fools we are. Our son loses his life, you lose an arm, then we lose each other. Why? Why?
Our boy did not lose his life. They took it.
He was murdered. Murdered by a group of those self-righteous northern hypocrites that your father so skillfully represents.
There were secessionists in that group that night, too. We don't know which side it was that killed him. I guess we all had a part in killing him. Fred, this may be our last chance.
You said that you believed what you were always taught to believe. Well, that's true with most of us. A man does what he has to do. And you used to quote another part of Shelley. A glorious people vibrated again. The lightning of nations. The day that all this is over, I shall come to you. You're forgetting something, Mr. Hennessy. You don't drink.
I've been waiting for you, Kyle.
You have? Why?
I know why you've come to Virginia City. A number of the other mine owners have told me about your purpose here.
And what is my purpose, as you put it?
To force the silver mines into financing the rebellious cause of the South.
Yes. Yes, that is my purpose.
Well, you won't get away with it.
You think you can stop me, little man?
I'm going to leave for Washington in the morning. Warn the proper authorities about what you're doing.
Don't you try it, little man. I'm warning you. Don't you try it.
Regis.
Yes, Mr. Carroll?
Have a drink. Bartender.
Hey, Regis. The stage is about ready to leave.
I figured it's getting to be about that time.
The fellow over there. One in the gray hat. It's about as Yankee as a man can get.
Only good Yankee's dead Yankee. You know, I think that stage is gonna run into a barrel of bad luck.
My foreman found the bodies just before dark. Since you and the lady were acquainted, I thought you'd want to know.
How did it happen?
Someone placed a boulder on a blind curve. The driver didn't have a chance to stop the stage from going over the cliff.
Who did it?
Must have been two of them. There were footprints all around. Kyle. Who was she?
You must have known her pretty well. Why don't you tell us who she was? What are you hiding, Mr. Kyle?
I am not trying to hide anything. She was a person I once knew. You believe that, don't you?
I don't believe you, Kyle. Who are you, and what do you really want here in Virginia City?
Look, what's got into you, Adam? You have no right to question Mr. Kyle like that.
Haven't I? Well, he's got you pretty well fooled, hasn't he?
Fool about what? He hasn't got me fooled about anything.
Tell him, Kyle. Tell him the truth.
Stop it. Stop it. What's the matter with you? What are we doing? Shouting over the dead, fighting like animals?
Come on, both of you.
I'm sorry, Kyle. We shouldn't have behaved this way.
I told you, Ben. She was a person I once knew.
Give us two more. Well, evening, Mr. Kyle. I suppose you heard about the accident of that Yankee leaving on the morning stage.
I heard.
Well, then maybe you'd be pleased to buy us a drink.
Put your guns in the bar. In the back room.
Mr. Kyle, there are definite signs. This was a planned crash, all right. But what made you think those men were the murderers? Well, Mr. Kyle?
I think we can answer that, Sheriff. Austin and I just checked up on the road. That slide was done deliberate.
We found a pick they used to pry the boulder off onto the road with. It's got Gorman's initials burned there in the handle.
Well, that proves those two men are guilty.
But Mr. Kyle never answered the question. How'd he know those men are guilty?
Well, what difference does it make as long as they're the men that did it?
But it does make a difference, doesn't it, Mr. Kyle? What were those men guilty of, murder or just acting on your instructions?
That's ridiculous. What reason would he have to do a thing like this?
Well, maybe I can give you a clue. Which one did you want killed, Kyle, the man or the woman?
Look at him. You've been riding Mr. Kyle ever since you met him.
Now stay out of it.
Brother against brother? How dare you, either of you?
Paul? Paul. Oh, little Joe came in about 20 minutes ago.
Well, the maverick finally got home, did he? Well, right now the three of you are going to have a talking to. Put an end to this nonsense once and for all. Little Joe?
Oh.
Little Joe, come in here.
Paul, he came, but he didn't stay.
What do you mean he didn't stay?
Just came to pick up a few things, Pa. He's going to stay in town for a while.
Why didn't you stop him?
I planned to.
Paul, Adam says he's going to go too.
Adam! Adam, wait a minute. Now, Adam, before you...
It's political trouble. It's a madness, Pa. Suddenly something screams at you inside and you find yourself saying things you don't mean, things you don't even believe. Tell little Joe I wanted him to know that. Try to make him understand.
These things that are packed here. What's this for? Where do you think you're going?
New England ought to be mighty pretty this time of year. I think I'd like to see it again.
Now, Adam, you can't be serious. Use your head.
Oh, Adam, come on.
Hoss, things can't be the same between us anymore.
What are you talking about? What can't be the same? Why can't they
Well,
be
just
the same?
can't, Pa.
Adam!
There's no other way, Pa. Can't you see?
No, I can't see. I'm not going to stand by and watch my family flick away like rust off a wheel.
Well, use your head, Pa, not your heart. Can't you see the damage is already done? It's got to be little Joe or me, and he needs you more than I do.
Adam, I don't want you to go.
You think it's what I want, Pa? Or even what little Joe wants? This thing has gone so far now, there's just no stopping it. You can't have two different points of view in the same house, Pa. It just won't work, and that's all there is to it.
Adam, please.
Oh, Pa, leave me alone with it.
Paul, that newspaper you was reading the other day in the saloon about what Mr. Lincoln said about a house divided can't stand. I reckon he's talking about folks like us.
No. Not us, Hoss. Not us.
Since I have already met and talked with most of you gentlemen, the main purpose of this meeting is to iron out any further questions that might have occurred to you.
You've guaranteed to pay us well above the price we're getting in San Francisco for our silver ore.
That's right.
How do you expect to do this, sir?
Those I represent need hard money, gold or silver. So to get it, they're willing to pay more in drafts of trade.
Drafts of trade? For what, Mr. Kyle?
Easily marketable items, such as cotton, tobacco.
Gentlemen, I'd like to talk to Mr. Kyle in private. Will you excuse us? I asked if you will excuse us. I have something important to discuss with Mr. Kyle.
Not very ethical.
Why should we be going in? Some nerve.
Suppose you'd like me to go too, huh, Pa?
You're a man now. After you hear what I have to say, you can do as you wish. Mr. Kyle, this scheme of yours with the mine owners, how does it work? The silver bullion and the letters of trade which you give in return are channeled through some foreign country And the bullion ends up creating a war chest for the Confederacy. Isn't that it?
You're a very astute man, Mr. Cartwright. A very astute man.
No, just a father. Something which probably isn't very important to you.
Allow me to decide for myself what is important to me.
You're a man of purpose, aren't you, Mr. Kyle? Everything for what you believe.
Is that so bad? Or don't you believe in anything?
I believe in my sons. Today I lost 2 of them. I should think you'd know better than anyone else alive how much that hurts.
Me? Why me?
That woman. That woman, Kyle, who was she?
You leave her out of it.
Can you? That night in my front yard when you were looking at what remained of her, I could feel the pain in the air. You loved her, didn't you? You loved her and you were willing to let her go without so much as a goodbye.
I don't want to kill you, Cartwright, but I could change my mind.
Who was she, Kyle? Every man has something he'll live for and die for. I want to find out what it is with you. How far will you go? How much are you willing to sacrifice, Kyle?
Cartwright, I'm warning you. You let me alone.
I talked to that woman. I saw the way she looked at you. I saw the way she held your arm as you walked up the hotel stairs. And then later, I saw the way you were holding her cape. The cape that only a few hours before had warmed her flesh.
Stop it, Ben! You hear me? Stop it!
Was she nothing more than the party girl from Carson City?
It isn't fair, Ben. You're not fair. You said that you wouldn't take sides, that this wasn't your fight.
You made it my fight, Kyle. She was your wife, wasn't she?
Yes. Yes, she was my wife.
First your son, then your wife. Nothing must interfere with your mission.
Nothing. Nothing. I will stop at nothing to ensure the success of my cause.
Yes, I believe that.
You will see. This is only the beginning. No sacrifice will be too great. There'll be countless others, men like myself, and worse, brother against brother, father against son.
And when it's over, what a waste it will all have been. What a useless, damnable waste.
I'm sorry, Pa. Brother against brother, father against son. You really think it'll come to that?
I don't know. I do know that a tree has many roots and they run in many directions. But it has only one taproot. This is where yours is.
I think I know that now. Should be a lot further along than this by now, Adam.
Don't worry, I'll get there.
Well, maybe you will, maybe you won't. First, I think we ought to get something settled. Now, just hear me out. Just sit and listen to me. Now, as long as I can remember, you always stayed up later than we did because you were older than we were. You always helped Pa settle the problems of the Ponderosa because you were grown up. Well, that just isn't going to set with me anymore. Not if Hoss and I have to run the ranch by ourselves.
That lake sure gets under your skin, don't it?
It sure does.
Let's go home.
Hey, that's good shooting, little Jim. Clean a back shot as I ever seen in my life. Calls for another one.
That's a shame. He had a full house. You can't win them all. Drinks on in.
Them's the meanest, toughest killers I ever saw. Who are they?
Well, them's the Slade boys. Didn't you know that?
No.
We're sure lucky they didn't plug us, too.
The Slade boys. I'm sure glad they're riding on through. Do you know where they're heading?
I heard him mention a place called Kiowa Flats.
Slade boys. Kiowa Flats. Remind me to ride clear of that place, will you? Come on, give me a drink.
Yeah, I'll have one with you.
What? They're coming. I seen them up by the forks, Mr. Brown. One of them's about 9 foot tall.
Well, who's coming?
Them!
You say one of them's a great big tall man?
About 9 foot tall and half as big around.
And the other fella is a little bit of a fella?
About half as big as his brother.
And mean looking?
Meaner than rattlesnakes.
It's them, all right. It's them. Now, Sonny, you get in off the street. Get in the house, you hear me? Keep off the streets. Now, go on and get. Ain't no sense looking for trouble. Darn thing never was no good nohow. They're coming! They're coming! They're coming. They're coming, ladies. They're coming. Hey, Franco! They're coming. He's showing good sense. They're coming! They're coming. They've came. I don't nobody start nothing.
Hey, Oz.
Yeah.
Let's watch some of the trail list out.
It's a good idea, Little Joe.
Howdy.
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 Howdy. Get up, get up.
Huh?
Get up, Twilly.
All right. Morning, Sheriff. Morning. Well, don't mind if I do. Who's buying?
You're always talking about how well you knew them Slade boys.
That's
huh?
right.
Yeah, just how well do you know them?
Sheriff, me and them Slade boys was practically weaned together. I am their bosom friend.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
your bosom friends just rode into town.
Sheriff.
Yeah, all right.
You say that again.
Your bosom friends just rode into town.
Well, why would those two murderous villains want to come to a miserable hole like Kiowa Flats?
Because Alonzo McFadden hired them to kill off all the Hatfield boys, that's why.
Oh, that's right. Well, where are they now?
In the bar.
Oh, no, they're terrible. No, Sheriff, that's the only bar in town. They'll bust that
Never
place
mind.
up. What do you mean, never
You
mind?
listen to me.
They'll ruin. All right.
Or you go to the livery stable, get a horse, hire it, charge it to me, and ride out and tell old Jubal Hadfield not to come into town for quite a spell. Then when you come back, look me up because I'll need you to identify them two fellas.
Right, I'll do it right. And look. Look after the bar. Will you look after it?
Yeah, I will.
Hey, Little Joe. Is there something wrong with me? Do I smell or something?
Oh, you smell about the same. How about me?
About the same. Say, mister,
Yes, sir.
is there something wrong with us or something?
Oh, no, sir. No, you're just fine. Just fine.
Bring us another beer.
You want another beer? Yeah, this is fine here.
Nice day, ain't it? Ain't good enough to drink, ain't good enough for sheep death. I say it's a nice day, ain't it?
Oh, yes, it's fine day. I mean, it's a nice day. About as nice a day as we've ever had. I can't remember a nicer one. It was, well, maybe back in 47 or 48. I might have had some better. I don't remember. Well, it's kind of warm. But, well, it's not too warm. Maybe a little on the chilly side. Well, any kind of weather's all right with me, so long as it don't bother you none. Oh, I guess it's a nice day. I don't know.
I reckon they ain't used to strangers or something, Little Joe.
Yeah, something. Let's get out of here.
Howdy.
Howdy. Don't look like nobody's here.
You know, I don't like this. Let's get out of here.
Oh, no, Little Joe.
I just don't like it. There's something funny about the people around here.
Well, I'm too tired to argue about it. Just sign her name and get a room.
How are we gonna get a room? There's nobody here.
Just sign her name and pick one. One with a lock. Hang the expense.
Now they're going upstairs. They're gonna stay all right.
Oh, did you see the way they looked at me? Oh, gentlemen, there was death in them eyes. Sudden death.
Oh, I tell you, when they took that swallow of beer, and that big one made that face, and he looked dissatisfied and uneasy like, oh, I tell you, I could hear them pearly gates a-jarring open. If you gentlemen will excuse me, I feel considerable shook.
I'm a mite shook up myself. Miss Lorna Doone and ladies, if I was you, I'd get in off the streets. It's apt to be a mite dangerous.
B. Bannerman Brown. Well, there's some in this town have a sense of duty, if others that oughta ain't. Yes. Now, where are they?
They're,
Stand aside, B. Bannerman Brown. Will you get out of the way? Come, ladies.
Great jumping Jehoshaphat.
Repent, sinners. The day of retribution is at hand.
Yes, Ma, I reckon it is.
Us poor, frail females have come to throw ourselves on your mercy.
Come to do what, ma'am?
We want you should spare us, our men.
Amen.
Well, there ain't enough of them to go around as it is.
Amen.
Don't you worry none, ma'am. We'll spare you men if they're worth sparing. Hey, what do you reckon he meant by all that?
Beats the heck out of me.
Hey, somebody's shooting at somebody.
I think it's us.
What the heck did we do?
I ain't fine, no, but I'm gonna find out.
$2 for this.
Sure ain't worth much now. Man, wasn't that good shooting?
Well, look, next time we can use your neckcloth, please.
I just hope there's gonna be a next time.
Hey, you in there! Huh? We know who you are and what you're here for. You can die now or later. If you want a chance to make your peace, throw out your guns.
Hey, they got us mixed up with somebody else.
I sure hope so.
Well, why else would they be shooting at total innocent strangers if they didn't have us mixed up with somebody?
I don't know. This is Texas, though, huh?
Yeah, well, reckon we better go ahead and do what he says. Throw our guns out and then go out and see what it's all about. Come on.
All right, let's try it again. What are your names? And what are you doing here?
We done told you that. Our names is Cartwrights, and we're down here to buy cattle.
Ants? Go on, boy. Oh! I told you not to lie to me.
We ain't lying.
Of course you ain't. You just come down here to buy cows. Texas cows. Now, who in his right mind is going to believe anybody'd come down here to buy Texas Longhorns, I ask you?
I told you. We're going to take them back up to our ranch in Nevada and cross them with our own herd so we'll have a hardier breed.
And you two are going to drive them cows clean across West Texas, right on up through a hunk of New Mexico, all the way to the Nevada territory, just the two of you?
Yeah, that's what we said.
It's a fine lie, gents. A fine lie. It's the kind of noble, inspired lying that does credit to the folks that raised you. But it don't wash out here. Now, I'll tell you who you are. You're them two low-down, gun-slinging, murdering, hydrophobic skunks of Slade boys that was hired by old man McFadden to wipe out us Hadfields because he couldn't do it himself.
And now look, we never heard of the McFaddens, and we never heard of the Hatfields.
And that's the truth.
Ain't they the living wonders, though? Ants, take 'em out and do what has to be done.
Come on.
Come on.
Hey, what in time is going on here anyway? What are you fixing to do to these fellas?
Kill 'em? They're the Slade boys.
You can't do that. You ain't sure they're the Slades?
Ain't sure. Ain't sure. You see 'em, don't you?
Sure, I see 'em, but I never see the Slades in my life, and neither did you.
He's right there, Pa.
Yeah, Twirly Boggs, he says he knows them. He says he knowed them a long time back in Austin.
Oh, Twirly?
Yeah.
Fine. Fetch 'em in here. Let him identify 'em, and then we'll kill 'em if it'll make you any happier.
Oh, well, you see, Twirly ain't exactly around right at this moment.
Oh. Ants, take 'em out.
Now, wait a minute. Won't do no harm to wait till morning, will it?
Where are we going to keep 'em until morning?
Pa, why don't we just stick him in Brown's jail and let him take responsibility for him?
You leave me in my jail out of this.
Ants, take 'em out.
Wait a minute. All right. Just get somebody to help me get him over to jail, that's all.
J. Bannerman Brown.
On your way.
You make sure they're there come morning. Or I might just take it into my head to vacate your office.
I'm getting sick of you.
Well, Joe, I got a funny feeling the law in this town is sure easily influenced.
Yeah, all you need's a Navy Colt.
Oh, you fellas comfortable and happy? I mean, can I get you anything? A bottle of whiskey or a couple of steaks or something?
When are you going to let us out of here?
Well, tomorrow morning, one way or another.
What do you mean, one way or another?
Well, if I can find Twirly Boggs and he says you ain't the Slade boys, I'll turn you loose.
Yeah, but what's going to happen if you can't find Twirly Boggs?
You get hung.
I just about got it figured out.
Yeah, what?
This whole dang town is touched.
Oh, come on. Who ever heard of a whole town being touched?
A feller told me one time they got a weed down here and they call it a loco weed. When the horses and cows eat it, they get wilder than all get out.
Oh, so? People don't eat weeds.
Yeah, but they eat beef, don't they? One of them critters gets all filled up on that there loco weed, it'd kind of salt the meat down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure does. Little Joe, you don't reckon they're really gonna hang us, do you?
I don't know. If they're joking us, they're sure pushing it pretty far. Hang on. Don't blob.
Blab.
Oh, don't blab. Rescue is at hand. Signed Black Alonzo, the red-handed Avenger.
Little Joe, even the kids have been affected by that loco beef in this town.
Sheriff Brown.
Oh, good evening, Miss Lorna Doone. Good evening, ladies.
I have fetched my tribute.
Yes, I guess as much.
Me and the ladies of the town have come to comfort them poor sinners in their final hours.
Yeah.
Well, the good book says we should forgive our enemies. We are told to bring solace to the afflicted, even though they are a couple of low-down murdering skunks.
Yes, here's the keys. You go in and console them low-down murdering them poor lost sheep. Me, I got work to do. Good night, ladies.
Oh, poor doomed prisoners. It ain't too late. Down on your knees as you face your awful fate. Repent your crimes before that trap is sprung. And you, like a side of beef, are hung.
Poor soul. If when you come up close and scooch again the bars, you could kind of rest your po head on my shoulder.
It ain't fair hanging men when there ain't enough to go round as it is.
If you don't mind, I'd like to finish my little tribute whilst there's time.
Ma'am, did you have many more of those?
No, just 10 or 12 more verses. Well, I didn't have enough time to do a real good job on it.
That's a shame.
Now your poke is spent, and you can take my word. We'll remember the gent that went riding herd, a-fightin' and shootin' like desert rats to come to their end in Kiowa Flats. Now toll the bell, their souls are fled.
There'll be much more of this, Hoss.
Shh. Them two poor boys are hanging dead. Somewhere their kinfolk will weep and pray.
Oh, this is worse than hanging.
For them that got heisted up today. Did you really like it?
Ma'am, I thought he was prime, just prime.
Well, it ain't often I get a chance to recite my tribute to the dear departed before they're departed.
No, ma'am, I don't reckon you do.
I suppose you'd like to have it buried with you. Most folks do. Oh, Clara Lou, stop that noise.
I can't help it. There ain't enough men to go around, and here they go, wasting two at the same time.
Amen.
It's a woman's place to endure, Clara Lou.
Well, I don't mind enduring if I got a man to put up with. Speaking of which, Lizabelle, I notice you've been hanging on to a certain hand half the livelong night.
Clara Lou Kinsey.
Well, I can't help it. She's just a selfish thing, that's all she is.
Well, I never. I guess a certain person can hold another person's hand if they choose.
Well, a certain person didn't have to choose the way another certain person grabbed onto it.
I wouldn't act like such a hussy if I was you, Clara Lou Kinsey.
Well, at least I ain't a flipperty gibbet like some Lizabelle Jones.
Break loose from them pesky females, boys, and get a move on. We're busting you out.
Who are you?
Alonzo McFadden, you dang fool, the one that hired you. Well, come on.
Alonzo McFadden! Bring him out here! Bring him
Come on, boys. Women, I want you to meet my friends. My good friends, Big Jack and Shorty Jim Slade. Boys, say howdy. My wife, Wheezy, and my daughter, Manda.
Howdy, ma'am. Howdy. Mr. McFadden, you're making a terrible mistake. You see, we ain't really
Never mind that now. We'll talk in the morning.
Hey, but look, Mr. McFadden, we're...
Adoration, how you boys go on and on.
Dad burn it, Mr. McFadden, we ain't the Slade boys.
You ain't?
No, we ain't. That's what we've been trying to tell you all the way in from town. Look, we're the Cartwrights.
What's the matter? You scared?
Oh, we ain't scared, and we do appreciate you busting us out of that jail, Mr. McFadden. That burn it, if it'd make you feel any better, I almost wish we was the Slade boys, but we just ain't.
So if you don't mind, we'll just mosey on back.
Bye, ma'am.
In the house. Well, first one side don't believe us, and then the other.
Yep.
We got ourselves in the middle of something, and I don't like it.
That's for sure.
What do you think we ought to do about it?
Well, I'll tell you, little Joe. I done been hauled up, hauled down, and threatened with a hanging, and thrown in jail, and busted out of jail, and poetized at, and shot at, and rid halfway across the state of Texas in the dark. I'm gonna get some sleep. I don't know what you're gonna do. Hey.
3 in the morning.
Who are you?
Turn him around, little Joe. Yeah. I thought I'd recognize that patch. You wouldn't be Black Alonzo, the red-handed Avenger, would you?
I was gonna bust you out. Only Pa and the boys got there first.
Yeah, well, just how was you figuring on busting us out?
Figured to dig a tunnel. That's a good way to bust out of dungeons.
Yeah, you're pretty well posted on things, ain't you, fella?
You just bet I am.
I'll bet you even know what we're doing here, don't you?
Shucks, half the country knows Pa hired you to kill Ann's Hadfield.
And, just why are we supposed to kill Ann's Hatfield?
He's the fastest gun around here, ain't he? None of us McFadden's can hold a candle to him. We gotta get rid of him before we can kill the rest of the Hadfields.
Well, how come you got to kill all them Hadfield?
Don't you fellas know anything? It's a feud. He's kind of dumb, ain't he?
Why, you little...
You just touch me and I'll holler for...
Black Alonzo, you tell your pa that we hate to leave like this, but we just ain't the Slade brothers, you hear? You thank him for busting us out of jail, all right? Let's go.
Shot at.
Hold your fire. They ain't shooting back. Come on. Let's go collect the bodies. Hey, Slade boys, on your feet.
Look, we're not this... Never mind.
I want you two to listen and listen good. I hired you to do a job for me, and last night you tried to run out on your obligations.
And Mr. McFadden...
Shut up and listen. I'm giving you fellas a fair choice. Now, you can take them guns and do the job you're supposed to. You got another choice. Name your poison, boys.
Dad burn it, Mr. McFadden. Don't you folks ever think any other use for a rope around here?
First the Hadfields want to hang us for being the Slade brothers. Now you want to do it because we ain't.
I'm getting awful tired of hearing that same old tired lie. All right, boys, heist them up.
Now, hold on just a minute. Dad burn it, Mr. McFadden. I'm getting sort of tired of being called a liar, too. We ain't the Slade boys. All you got to do is ride into town and look up a feller named Twirly Boggs. Sheriff Brown told us that he knew the Slade boys, and he can tell you right quick we ain't them.
That's right.
All right, boys. If it'll make you feel better disposed to do the work you was hired for, we'll all saddle up and ride into town. We'll look up Twirly Boggs. Take the gun, boys.
Rolling horse. I know there wasn't a jail that could hold them slaves. You see, I know them boys. I know them real good. I went to school with the Aunt Emmeline, see? I tell you, those boys would gouge your eyes out if they thought you looked at them in the wrong way. They would shoot you if they wanted a little target practice. Why, them boys... Who's buying, gents? Them boys, they had a man for breakfast every day of their life from the day that they put on long pants. Yes, sir. They had 2 on Sundays. Never touched me, though. No, sir. They like me. You see, they like me real good. But Oh, come on now. Somebody stole my drink. Let's have a drink here. I tell you, them 2 Slade boys is 2 curly wolves. They are the big wind off in the prairie. They walk in blood, and where they breathe, they leave behind them ruin.
Get ready for ruin right now, because here they come.
Oh, hallelujah. They look mad. I'm getting out of here.
No, wait a minute, wait a minute, fellas, wait a minute. Wait a minute, help me save the whiskey. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Let's get over.
Howdy.
Brown, where's Twirly Boggs? Come out of there, Boggs.
No, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Now, take it easy. Let's not go massacring Twirly Boggs now. I ain't never done no harm to nobody.
Come here, Boggs.
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Take a look at these 2. Are they or ain't they the Slade boys?
What?
Are they or ain't they?
You just go right ahead and answer, Mr. Boggs. Tell him the truth. Ain't nobody gonna hurt you.
Correct. Ain't nobody gonna hurt you.
That's fine. Well, that Slade boy's all right. I seen a lot of them down in Austin. Hi, boys. What's the matter, boys? Don't you know me? I'm Twirly Boggs. Remember? I used to go to school with your old Aunt Emmeline.
That doesn't. Take these and do the job you're supposed to, or you won't be around to taste air come tomorrow morning.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Boggs.
Howdy, boys, howdy.
Howdy, Mr. Brown. Boy, anybody comes riding into this, they're gonna get slaughtered.
Yeah, they got guns planted in the windows and up on the roofs and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, maybe the Hatfields won't ride into town after all.
They'll ride in all right. They got the news.
Seems a terrible shame, don't it? All these folks killing each other.
How'd a feud like this ever get started, Sheriff?
Over a hog.
Over a hog?
Yep, just a plain common, ornery, razorback hog. I'll tell you boys all about it, but first I got to get a little potation to loosen up the vocal cords. I'll tell you the whole sad tale. Come on. Gully.
Thanks, son. You gentlemen care for some more sheep dip? Beer?
Yeah, give us a couple of beers.
Yeah, well, as I started to tell you out there, see these here Hadfields and McFaddens, they've been slaughtering one another, man and boy, for the last 30 years.
Yeah, well, how did the hog get mixed up in it?
Well, come on, sit down, boys, I'll tell you all about it now. See, Lance Hadfield, he was fattening him a razorback shoat, you see, for his winter meat. Well, one morning, that shoat turned up missing. So he got his gun, saddled up, and went out looking for her. Couldn't find her. But as he was passing by the McFadden's cabin, he, pork roasting. So he went in, and of course, naturally, they asked him to stay to supper. And lo and behold, they brung on a great big mess of fresh roast pork. He knowed the Hatfield didn't have no pig, so he accused them of stealing his. And then the shooting started, and it's been going on ever since, for 30 years.
All that killing over one dad-burned old fattening hog. Now, look here, Mr. Brown, you was sheriff then. Now, how come you didn't stop it?
Oh, shucks, I tried 2 or 3 times, but it didn't do no good. See, nobody pays much attention to me. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm getting old, or maybe it's because I'm getting a little cowardly. I don't know. You boys don't look so darned old, and you sure don't look like cowards.
Well, Sheriff, you're not suggesting that we do something about the feud. I mean, after all, we're supposed to be the Slade brothers.
Ah, shucks. I knowed you want gunmen the minute I laid eyes on you. I can tell a killer a mile off. Besides, that Twirly Boggs is the biggest liar in the whole great state of Texas. And that son's just covering a heap of territory.
Yeah, well, if you knew, why didn't you say something? First the McFaddens were gonna hang us and the Hatfields are gonna shoot us?
Well, I kind of thought maybe I was holding a hand I could draw to. But, never mind. By the way, I snuck your horses out of the livery stable and tied them back in the alley, and your guns is in my office.
Sheriff, we sure do appreciate this. Come on, Little Joe, let's get out of here.
Thanks an awful lot, Sheriff.
It's all right, boys.
Hey, Buck. Hey, Buck. Come here, boy. Where are you going to that rifle?
I'm gonna kill me some Hatfields.
Yeah, even the kids are thinking like that.
Yeah, it seems like a shame, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's go.
Come on, who you joking?
That's what I like about us as a family, Little Joe. Pa always taught us to never do nothing the others be ashamed of. I'd like to keep it like that.
I just wonder if there's anything we can do, like B. Bannerman Brown said.
No, I don't know, but let's try. Come on.
You boys change your minds about going?
Well, sir, you might say we had our mind changed for us. I don't know what we're going to do, but whatever it is, I think we better get started.
Hey, listen, you got any ideas, Sheriff?
Yeah, got one. Lorna Doone Mayberry.
Lorna Doone Mayberry.
See, my grandpappy always told me, he always says, son, you get the women on your side, and the battle's won.
Excuse me, ma'am. Me and my little brother are in a peck of trouble, and, well...
Come on. Tell me what it's all about. Come on.
Well, first of all, ma'am, there's just about to be a bunch of killing out there in that street.
There's always killing in that street.
Oh, yes, ma'am, and that seems to me like it's a terrible waste. I mean, there not being enough men to go around for all you ladies like it is.
There ain't a woman living can keep men from fighting.
Well, ma'am, I beg to differ with you. You see, sometimes women folk can sort of get around men folk in little ways, and I figured maybe if you ladies tried right hard, you might be able to get around these.
You ain't as dumb as you look. What do you want me to do?
Well, ma'am, here's our plan. We figured if you...
All right, hold your fire, man. Get that wagon! Hold your fire. Hold it. Hold it. Florida Dune Mayberry! Dag nabbit, you get them women off of this street!
We're staying right here.
Lorna Doone, have you lost what few wits you ever had?
I got my wits, Jubal Hatfield, and that's more than you can say. Us women got a few things to tell you. And you can start your fighting after you hear this out. All right, ladies. Well, they gotta listen to you.
I got something to say. You all know me. I'm Wheezy McFadden. My man's Alonzo McFadden. He's over there behind them barrels and things with the rest of the McFaddens. Alonzo, I want you to listen to me. I can't have no more chillin'. But I ain't gonna cook for you, nor wash for you, nor do anything a wife's bound to do for her man till you put down that gun and come out of there. Alonzo, I mean it.
I'm Susan Hatfield. I guess you all know who I'm talking to. What Wheezy says goes for me too, Jubal. I won't be the kind of wife I should till you stop this fighting.
I'm talking to you, Anse Hatfield. You heard your ma talk, and you heard my ma. You're on one side, and I'm on the other. Here I am, Anse. But don't come after me with a gun in your hand.
Boy, you get back here. You hear me?
You men want to hear some more?
Just a dang minute. What tarnation's going on here? Hey, confound it, get back here. This ain't no way to run a feud. And it was such a nice day for it, too. Hatfield, I'll buy a drink. A drink? All right. I'll accept your offer, and I'll buy another. Fair enough. Whiskey. Whiskey.
Yes, sir.
Lorna, that was a mighty fine thing you just done. Lorna, 15 years ago, you said to me that if I ever,
Hey, Little Joe. Little Joe. I think we done hung around here long enough. We better be just riding on and tending our business, and that's buying cattle.
Oh, Hoss, take it easy. A guy has to have a little chance to relax.
Boys, here's your hats and here's your own guns. Now take an old man's advice and get riding. Here you are, son.
Yeah, well, Sheriff, we were just beginning to enjoy this town.
Yeah, but don't forget the silly heap of folks around here that still thinks you're the Slade boys. Now, word to the wise?
You've had plenty for today, Little Joe. Come on.
Jubal Hatfield, you put her there.
Alonzo McFadden, you're a good old sot.
Thank you, Jubal.
The best. Except for one thing.
What did I do wrong, Jubal?
Bringing in them hired killers to settle a dispute between two Texas gentlemen. I'm ashamed of you.
Jubal, I'm a dirty dog.
Oh, now, don't take on.
I'm a dirty dog. Jubal, this has got to be wiped out in blood.
All right. Whose blood?
Who do you suppose? Those two dirty, miserable killers that came along into our peaceful little community trying to stir up trouble between us two peace-loving families.
That's what I like about you, Alonzo. You think the same as me. Let's go round up a couple of the boys, just in case.
Hey, how far is it to Kiowa Flats? Just a couple of miles back down the road.
You don't suppose that...
I think so. Come on, let's get out of here. You don't reckon?
I think so.
Not many men are so privileged as we are to see a new civilization born before our own eyes.
There are times in the streets of Virginia City when I question the use of the word civilization.
It is always that way with the new Hop Sing. A diamond, before it is polished, seems no more than a clod of dirt. Is this the American way to toast on an American occasion?
To your son, on his 18th birthday.
To my son Jimmy's American birthday, to the joining of the past and the present, to create a finer future. You have honored my house, and now there is much to do. You are fortunate to know the Cartwright family so well, Hop Sing. It pleases me to know that here in America, the affection and respect of the sons for the father is as strong as it is in the land of our ancestors.
The Cartwrights have great respect for you, my uncle, and admiration for your son.
I am happy the younger sons will honor us with their presence at the birthday party. And do not worry, Hop Sing. Your friend Hoss will be fed as well as if you yourself did the cooking.
Hey, you. You speak to me?
Yeah. You and me work good together, Billy boy. We're gonna have to clean a lot more of this dirt out of here before Virginia City is a fit place to live.
Little Joe, is it sure enough true we're going to have bird's nest for dinner at Jimmy Chang's birthday party?
That's what Adam told us.
I ain't for sure I'm gonna like that.
Well, it's something to eat. You'll like it, all right. Say.
Paul, Adam, come on here, quick!
Say, what happened to your boy?
What happened to your boy?
Can you talk, Hop Sing?
Looks like he's been in a pretty bad fight.
Yeah. Paul, let me help him in the house.
You forget about it. Hapsing all right. It's Chinese business only.
What do you mean by that, Paul? You don't think he's tangled up in one of them Tong things we heard about, do you?
No, I don't, son. The Tong is a protective organization composed of civilized people.
I wonder how much more this has been going on.
A lot of it, particularly in the California gold mines. Didn't think any of it had spread over the mountains.
Well, why would anybody want to do a thing like this?
Because Hop Sing is Chinese.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard of, Paul. I feel like going in there and tearing that town apart board by board.
No, you won't, son. You'll go to Jimmy Chang's birthday party tomorrow, just as you planned.
I suppose we just forget about the fact that somebody beat up on Hop Sing.
We're not going to forget about it, but we're not going to stir up more trouble for the Chinese than they already have.
You sure you got enough money?
Oh, yes, sir, Paul. We done paid for Jimmy Chang's present. We're just gonna go pick it up.
All right. We'll see you later.
What was it you wanted, Lee Chang?
Oh, today is birthday of my son.
Oh, ain't that nice?
Would like to buy 18 small American flags.
All right.
Why, you're plumb out of them flags, ain't you, Hammond?
Hmm? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I don't have any American flags, Chang. I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for?
I don't have any. You'll have to go some other place.
Thank you. I will try Campbell's on C Street.
He don't have none either. And neither does anybody else in town.
Lee Chang, my friend.
Mr. Bernard, Mr. Adam, it would seem my unworthy nephew feeds the food to bring good health.
It would seem Hop Sing feeds my brother Hoss a few extra servings, too.
Well, it's a big day in your life, Chang. You can be mighty proud of that boy of yours.
Mr. Cartwright, could I ask you a question, please?
Well, of course. Anything you want, you know that.
There are customs of your people I do not understand. I'd wish for my son an American birthday party.
I wouldn't worry about it. Just give him a cake with candles.
Oh, yes. It must be candles and not flags.
What do you mean, Chang?
I had thought to put American flags on the cake, but I understand it is not permitted.
Who says so?
Oh, it's no matter.
Chang, did Hammond refuse to sell you American flags to put on Jimmy's cake?
I did not understand. I do not wish trouble.
Adam, Ben, it's good to see you. And what can I do for my favorite customers?
We'd like to buy some American flags.
I don't have any of them little ones, man.
And how did you know we wanted some of those little ones?
Yeah, maybe we wanted a great big one.
Well, do you?
You run in the store now, Jesse?
No. No, I just take care of my own affairs, that's all.
Well, then stay out of ours.
You pack a grudge a long time, Adam.
Well, how about it, Hammond?
I'm just sure we don't have none.
Now, why don't you take a nice, hard look?
We're right here. Well, here's some of them. I didn't know I had any left. Let's see, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many of them did you need?
18. They're to be put on a birthday cake.
Hmm. There's a few extra. That'll be $1. Thank you.
Adam, you shouldn't let Jesse Tibbs get under your skin that way.
I can't help it. Nothing but a cattle thief and a hired gun, and yet he walks around loose.
He'll trap himself in time.
Andy Fullman. Well, this town's getting pretty hard up for somebody to run for mayor, isn't it?
Adam, is Jesse Tibbs still foreman of that ranch that Andy Fulmer bought out south of Carson?
As far as I know. Hopper Singh, the business with the flags with Lee Chang.
Yeah, that sounds just about like the kind of tactics that Fulmer would use. First the Irish and now the Chinese.
America for the Americans. It's a pretty tired platform.
Adam, do me a favor. Will you take these flags over to Lee Chang? Tell him that Hammond just misunderstood him.
What are you up to?
Somebody I want to talk to.
Come in. And Cartwright, I'm rightly honored. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit, Mr. Cartwright?
You don't have to go through any of the formalities, Mr. Fulmer. We've known each other for some time. What school did you get that from?
School of Hard Knocks, same one you went to, Ben.
Only I don't call myself a lawyer.
Folks get in trouble, they come to me for advice. Ain't nothing in the law says I can't charge a fee for helping them. Now, just what did you have on your mind, Ben?
Andy, I understand you're fixing to run for mayor.
That's right.
Andy, what's your platform?
Virginia City for Virginia City. Short, sweet, and to the point. You like that?
Well, it depends on what it means.
It means Virginia City belongs to the folks that made it what it is. It means we don't want outsiders.
Well, now, what's your definition of an outsider, Andy?
Well, now, Ben, you live outside the city and you can't vote for me anyhow, even if you would. But I'll be glad to spell it out for you anyway. It means our town's being overrun by foreigners who are willing to work for nothing, and they're taking the bread and butter out of the mouths of folks like us who built this country.
Now, by foreigners, Andy, who do you mean? The Irish, or the Welsh, or the Chinese?
Now, before you start giving me any of that high-flown talk about prejudice, you just stop and remember this camp's full of those same Irishmen and Welshmen and Cornishmen, and those are the very people I mean to protect.
I wasn't going to give you any high-flown talk about prejudice, Andy. I just wanted to know where you stood.
Yeah. Does that mean you're against me, Ben?
Well, Andy, it means that if I find out that you or any of your boys had anything to do with beating up my cook, I'll tie a rope around you. I'll drag you up and down Main Street.
Now, Ben, like I said before, you don't live in this city. And you can't vote for me nohow. So why don't you just stay out of this campaign?
I guess you just invited me in, Andy.
Little Joe.
Doggone that Jimmy Chang. Just when I got a surprise birthday present right out, we would have to run into it.
I didn't expect to see you till tonight. You are coming to the party, aren't you?
Sure, we're coming, Jimmy.
What's the matter, Hoss?
We really gonna eat bird's nest?
My father said he felt the same way about the first piece of apple pie he ever saw. See you later. I gotta get to the stable and get to work.
Take it easy, Jimmy. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
Made up his mind to go to college, and he'll do it, too.
You reckon he knew this was his birthday present?
If he couldn't figure that out, he sure has no sense going to college. Hey, good looking.
You know better than to say a thing like that in public.
You didn't seem to mind it so much last night.
Why, Billy Wheeler, I wasn't even with you last night.
Then who were you with, Sally? Tommy Gaines or Ned Wilkins or the Pierce kid? Or maybe him?
What if I was?
I didn't know you was making fun. I'd slap your mouth.
Let go of me.
Suppose I tell your daddy what you just said. What do you think old J.R. did to you, huh? Now, you just be nice, and I won't tell.
Let go of her. Let go of her.
Why don't you try and make me? Boy, you just made the biggest mistake of your life. The biggest mistake you'll ever make.
Jimmy. Oh, let me look at that cut.
That's all right, Miss Sally. Leave me alone.
All I did was bathe your face. A girl would do that for anyone.
Yes, anyone.
I didn't mean it the way it sounded.
That's all right. I'm used to it.
Here, I'll put some more water on it.
Sally,
Father!
get into the house.
But, Father...
Did you hear me?
Why, what have I done?
You've disgraced my name, flouting yourself in front of this heathen.
I was just helping Jimmy. Billy Wheeler hit him.
And I thank Billy Wheeler for that.
Father, how can you say that? Jimmy didn't do anything.
You get into the house before I thrash you.
I'm not afraid of you, Father. I haven't done anything wrong. Every time I look at a boy, you see evil.
Shame!
Sally!
You keep away from her.
You shouldn't have done that, Mr. Ridley.
Why?
Oh, Father, no! No! Father, no!
You've killed her.
No. No.
I told you it was the biggest mistake you ever made. Boy, I sure told you.
I wouldn't be too worried if I was you, Lee Chang, about Jimmy. He'll be around in a minute.
The old man Ridley probably gave him a few extra chores to do.
You know, Mr. Ridley, he's tougher than nails.
Oh, Jimmy not mine. He work hard. He do what Mr. Ridley tell him.
What do you think, Hoss?
I don't know. That boy's so danged anxious to make his college money, he done forgot his own birthday party.
Yeah, he's almost an hour late.
Jimmy!
Jimmy! Jimmy, what happened to you?
Hopshay, get some water and some towels, quick.
What is it, my son?
They were chasing me.
Who was?
I had to fight them off, Hoss. They wanted to kill me.
Well, why? What did you do?
Little Joe, I didn't do anything.
Well, something must have happened.
Sally Ridley is dead. Her father shot her. It was an accident. They think I killed her.
Now, look, Jimmy, I want you to tell me the whole story right from the very beginning.
It was an accident, Joe. I liked Sally. I wouldn't ever hurt her.
We know he's in there. Send him out. Send him out or we're coming in to get him. Somebody will get hurt.
Just keep calm. Ain't nobody gonna hurt that boy. We'll handle this thing proper. Little Joe, you come cover me. First man that tries to come in this house is gonna have to climb over me.
We're not looking for any fight. We want the boy is all.
Well, you ain't getting him.
He killed somebody. And he's gonna get what's coming to him.
Now, that's a bit hasty, Billy. Suppose we give him a choice. Either we take the boy in jail, or we get a rope. What about it?
You wait here.
Will they take my son?
No, Lee Chang, if anybody does any taking around here, it's going to be little Joe and me.
But you believe Jimmy?
Look, don't worry, Lee Chang. Sheriff Halstead's a fair and honest man. He'll know the truth when he hears it.
Father, in America, a man is innocent until proven guilty. Isn't that right, Hoss?
That's right, Jimmy. Go on.
Let's go, Hoss.
Hop Sing, Adam's gonna stop by for us. Tell him we're down at the jail.
Why'd you let him have him? We could have strung him up.
Billy, Billy, Billy. Don't you remember what Fulmer said? What we do is let it boil. We just let it boil.
Now, you've told me the whole truth. You're sure you've left nothing out, son?
I've told it just the way it happened.
Well, I'm inclined to believe him.
And how many other folks will is the question.
Well, I believe him. I've known Jimmy and his family a long time. They're good people.
Sure, they're good people, but that doesn't tip the scales. Not with some who have political ambitions.
You mean Andy Fulmer?
Yeah. He's been waiting for this kind of thing to happen ever since he declared for mayor. Come on, boy.
Jimmy, everything's gonna be all right.
This is for your own protection, Jimmy. You'll be better off here than you will at home.
I understand, Sheriff.
See, Jimmy, this doesn't mean that you're guilty. Even an innocent man, if he's suspected of murder, can't be allowed to roam the streets.
I know.
You'll be all right here.
All right, Billy, send him in. How are you, Mr. Ridley?
Andy?
Won't you sit down? All of our sympathies are with you, Mr. Ridley. We all want you to know how deeply we feel for you in this hour of your great loss.
Thank you, Andy.
It's a tragedy, Mr. Ridley. It's a real tragedy. And if we hadn't let the bars down in the first place, a thing like this couldn't ever have happened. Now, you know me, Mr. Ridley. I speak my mind plain. Your daughter went out with lots of American boys, didn't she? Sure she did. Pretty little thing like her. And did any of those American boys ever act any way other than decent with her? Of course not. Would an American boy have shot her down in cold blood?
There's something I think you should know. That boy didn't kill my daughter. It was an accident. I had the gun. The gun went off. That boy didn't kill my daughter, Andy. I did.
Now, you just sit there, Mr. Ridley. You had a very trying day. Jesse, haven't you got some work to do?
Sure. Sure, Andy.
You know, sometimes when a man suffers a great tragedy, it can affect his mind. You understand that, don't you, Mr. Ridley?
Yes, I understand that.
And in his grief, he might forget things or even imagine things that never really happened.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, I'm sorry to say this, old friend, but I see signs of that in you. In your eagerness to do what's right, you're willing to shoulder all the blame for Sally's death.
Well, shouldn't I, Andy?
Now let's face the truth. Didn't that boy, that James Chang, didn't he provoke whatever caused Sally's death?
As the Lord is my judge, that boy caused Sally to die.
Yes. And our city's overrun with these undesirables. And that breeds the sort of thing that happened to you. And every decent citizen in this town wants to see that don't never happen again. Now, ain't that right, Mr. Ridley?
Yes, Andy.
All right, then. Now let's you and me sit down and examine what's really right for Virginia City.
You asked me to order members of our town to fight if need be to protect your son.
My son has not killed anyone. He has committed but one crime. He is Chinese.
Is James Chang Chinese? Has he not given up the ways of his ancestors? Has he not taken the dress and the custom of another people?
He is ambitious. He desires to educate himself in this new land. He knows that one day the Chinese will take their place alongside other people who have come from many other places to make this great country.
Young eyes can see great distances, and risk is the privilege of youth. Your son has accepted the new ways, and with this, he has accepted the risk.
He is my son, and they talk in the streets of killing him.
It is written, it is better to sacrifice one lamb than to cause the slaughter of the entire flock.
Some men will fight, even to save a lamb.
Order, order, please. Now, I don't want to have to remind you folks, this is an official inquest, and I expect order. Continue, Mr. Wheeler.
Like I said, I seen this Chinese boy carrying on with Sally Ridley. So naturally, I went and told her father. You know the rest.
Now, Your Honor, aren't we taking an awful lot for granted here?
Now, surely, Your Honor. Ben Cartwright's been around long enough to know the facts when he hears them.
But this is not a trial, Andy. It's an inquest. Is that all, boy?
Well, ain't that enough, Your Honor?
Don't get smart with me, son. Now, you just get down and let's have the next witness. Miss Amanda Ridley. Now, Amanda, just tell us in your own words what happened last night.
Jimmy Chang killed my sister.
Order, order in the court, please. Order, please. Amanda, we're not passing judgment here. We're just trying to get the facts.
Well, what did you expect? Everybody in town knows what kind of a girl my sister was. Always flaunting herself, fluffing her hair and mincing around boys.
What's the matter with her? She's jealous of her own sister.
Please, Amanda, I know how hard this must be for you, but all we want to hear is what you saw.
Well, I heard a shot. I ran to the stable. There was Jimmy Chang bending over my sister. There was a gun next to him. My poor father was standing there, just staring.
And the gun was by Jimmy Chang?
It was right by him, right where he dropped it.
Now, Your Honor, how do we know that was Jimmy Chang's gun? Who saw him drop it there?
Ben, you're not trying to tell us that gun just fell out of the sky, are you?
Ben Cartwright, I'm not going to put up with any more of your outbursts. All right, Amanda, that's all. Mr. Ridley, will you take the stand? Mr. Ridley, do you feel the testimony you've heard here is substantial of the way it happened?
As the Lord is my witness, that boy caused the death of my daughter.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley. You may step down. Jimmy Chang, stand up. It is the finding of this inquiry that you, Jimmy Chang, stand trial for the murder of Sally Ridley. Inquest adjourned.
I sure don't want to miss that trial.
They'll hang him for sure, won't they, Mr. Fullman?
That's hard to tell. Jury trial, sometimes you just can't depend on a jury. Like I told you boys before, when I take over this town, I want it clean.
Maybe we ought to see to it there ain't no trial, boss.
Jesse, I sure like the way you think. We owe an obligation to this town, boys.
Andy's right. We're all merchants. We all earn our living here. If we let the Chinese take over, our property will be worthless.
I never spoke truer words, Cyrus. That's my way of thinking exactly. And if it wasn't my way of thinking, I wouldn't be running for mayor.
Well, one thing, Andy. I ain't a man to jump into things, you know.
Well, you ain't a man to stand by and watch your own house burn down without tossing on a pail of water either, are you, Cyrus?
Oh.
Now, if we let that Chinaman get away with killing that white girl, it's just the same as saying we don't even care what happens to our own wives and daughters.
Well, what do you think we ought to do, Andy?
I think we ought to put a stop to it right now.
Looks like you're a little off your game today, little Joe.
Sheriff, they're holding a meeting over at Hammond's store. I don't like the looks of it.
Andy Fulmer in the height of his glory. So-called cause and a hot-headed audience to listen to his ranting.
What do you think it'll come to, Pa?
I don't know. But if Fulmer can fire up that crowd enough, they'll sure enough try to break Jimmy out of jail.
Oh, don't you think we can hold him off, Paul?
No, I've got no right to ask you Cartwrights to get mixed up in this thing.
You got no help either, have you?
Well, you want to get rid of me, Sheriff, you're going to have to throw me out. Jimmy Chang's a friend of mine.
Well, Sheriff?
Well, I won't lie and say that I'm not pleased, but... Well, to make this thing legal like, I'd better swear you all in as deputies.
That's good. Always did want to wear one of them deputy badges anyhow.
Bag? No. Looks like you were right.
I don't think there's any more doubt about it, Sheriff. Look, there's only one way to avoid trouble, and that's by getting that boy out of town fast.
But I can't rightly do that, Ben.
Well, you can't rightly let them come in and lynch him either, can you?
Ben, Jimmy Chang has been indicted for murder. That's my sworn duty to uphold the law, and it's also the sworn duty of you and your sons now.
What are we supposed to do, sit here and wait?
That's the way it is.
Look, Pa, even if we get Jimmy out, we got to get him past those men.
Yeah, I suppose nothing would make Fulmer happier than to kill Jimmy Chang while attempting to break jail.
Look, Ray, there's no law that says a deputy can't walk out of here, is there?
No, there isn't. If you boys want to change your mind, I can release you from any obligations.
No, that's not what I meant. I just don't like the idea of sitting around here while Andy Fulmer calls every turn.
What's on your mind, son?
Well, Pa, I can't help thinking about Amanda and the way she behaved on the witness stand. Now, I've known her a long time. I just don't believe she's turned that bitter.
You think you might want to talk to her?
I'd like to try.
Huh. It's worth a chance. Maybe through her you could break down Ridley's story. I don't like the idea of you going out there, though.
No, Horse and I could cover him, Pa.
Oh, that'd be playing right into Fulmer's hands. Then there'd be 3 less guns in here for him to worry about.
I'll get through all right, Pa.
Well, I wasn't thinking of you getting through, Adam. I was thinking of you getting back in. And don't sell Fulmer short. He's got Ridley on his side, and he's going to do everything in his power to keep him there.
Well, I'm going to risk it.
All right, Adam.
Look at him.
What's the matter, Cartwright? The stink of that woman killer get too thick for you in there?
You get out of my way.
You sure are proddy, Adam. Ain't no law says we can't stand out here in the street.
Yeah, why are you Cartwright so nervous? We ain't doing nothing.
We'll just keep on doing it. May I come in?
I suppose it'd be all right. My father isn't home.
Well, it's really you I wanted to talk to, Amanda.
Would you like to sit down?
Thank you. Well, all of us used to have some mighty good times in this house.
We haven't entertained since Mother died.
7 years. Must get kind of lonely for you sometimes.
I had obligations, and I assumed those obligations.
Have to be at such a high price?
Do you think it's been easy keeping the household together with Mother gone?
No, I don't. I watched my own father do it for years.
Yes, but Sally did everything she could to make things difficult.
Yeah, Pa had his moments with all of us, too.
She had no respect for anything, not for me or for my father.
Look, Amanda, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Life hasn't passed you by.
Why can't you Cartwrights mind your own business and let us mind ours?
Because it happens to be everybody's business when a boy's life's at stake.
You can stand there and say that to me when my sister's been murdered. What do you expect me to do? Go over there to Jimmy Chang and tell him it was all a big mistake?
If that's what it was, yes. Jimmy Chang said he didn't have a gun. He said it was an accident. Now, look, Amanda, I've always admired you because you had the courage to stand up for what you thought was right. Sally was just exactly the way you used to be, no more, no less. You don't need to pretend with me, Amanda.
Oh. Adam, I've been so alone. What should I do?
Tell the truth.
What are you doing in my house, Cartwright? Is no woman safe in this town? How dare you persecute my daughter?
It's not your daughter that's being persecuted. There's a young boy over in that jail that's just about to face a lynch mob.
That boy's a murderer and a heathen. He's been indicted for his crime.
Indicted but not convicted. Now, don't you think Jimmy Chang deserves a fair trial?
James Chang will have a fair trial.
Not unless you tell Andy Fulmer that's what you want him to have.
Oh, Mr. Fulmer's an honorable man. He doesn't need me to tell him what to do.
What's the matter, Mr. Ridley? You afraid to face up to Andy Fulmer and the principles you value so highly?
I fear no man.
Well, then talk to him.
I'll go with you, Father.
What rights he got to stand trial anyway? He ain't even no citizen.
That's right.
We can let those Cartwrights tell us how to run our town. They don't live in Virginia City. And this town is for us that lives here, for us Americans.
That's right.
There are only 3 Cartwrights in there. Adam left. And we'll see to it he don't get back in again. I say rush the jail. Sheriff Halstead will be on our side when he sees we mean business.
What are you up to, Cartwright?
Just out for a walk with some friends of mine. What's the matter, Jesse? You seem nervous.
Mr. Ridley, is Adam trying to force you to do something against your will?
No man forces me against my will. I want to talk with Mr. Fulmer.
You wanted to talk to me, J.R.?
I've got to talk to you about everything. About those people out there.
Why, certainly, J.R. Not a man in this town can't speak to me whenever he wants to. You come right on in. Miss Amanda? Let's step into my private office. We can talk freely there.
Well, I'll wait out here.
Won't you sit down, Amanda? Thank you. J.R.? Now then. What was it you wanted to say to me, J.R.?
I want those people out there to know the truth. I want to tell them what I told you this morning.
And what did you tell me this morning, J.R.?
Why, that Jimmy Chang is innocent. That my daughter's death was an accident.
And what did I say then, Mr. Ridley?
I just don't remember.
Didn't I say that I wanted to help you? Didn't I say that the people of Virginia City were behind you 100%? Did you see all those people out there in that street? Why do you think they're there? They're there because they're your friends, J.R., just as I'm your friend. Because we both believe in the same principles. We believe in honesty and decency and the American way. Now, ain't that right, Mr. Ridley?
Yes, I suppose so.
Father,
Now, you don't suppose. You know. Those people are out there because they're your friends. They're out there to honor you. They're there to honor a man who stood up in his hour of great tragedy, not for his own sake, but for the sake of an entire city.
Now, are you going to let them down, J.R.? Are you going to let your daughter die in vain? They're waiting for you out there, J.R.
Well, Mr. Ridley?
I have no right to stand in the way of my friends, the people here in Virginia City.
Like I say, J.R., I like your ideas fine. You talk to me anytime. The door's always open.
What happened in there?
Adam, it was horrible. It's as if my father has no mind of his own.
Well, I'll change his mind.
No, Adam. Let me do it. I can make him understand that he's got to tell the truth.
All right, if you think you can. Remember, Amanda, Jimmy Chang's life depends on your father telling the truth.
I realize that now, Adam.
Come along, Amanda.
Just where do you think you're going, Cartwright?
Now, why don't you leave those folks alone?
Boys, what's going on here?
Cartwright here seemed to be in a hurry. We figured he was planning to pester the Ridleys some more.
Now, you boys put those guns away. Jesse, you know we're not men of violence. You go right ahead, Mr. Cartwright. Just do whatever you like.
I'll do just exactly that, Mr. Pullman.
You sure you don't want me to stop him, boss?
Now, why should you do that, Jesse? Just when we got things right where we want them.
Little Joe, did you ever taste anything like these jailhouse beans?
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm trying not to remember it.
What you mean to say is you don't ever remember tasting anything that's good, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's almost worth breaking a law to get this kind of chow.
Jimmy, you ain't eat a bite of yours. Why don't you try to get some of that down?
Thanks, Hoss, but I'm not hungry.
Hungry? What's that got to do with it? You think the only time a man can eat's when he's hungry?
Yeah, you haven't got any kind of fool idea like that, do you, Jimmy?
I didn't kill Sally. You believe me, don't you, Hoss?
Jimmy, you ought to have more sense than even ask such a question.
But there are some people in this town who think I did. How can they, Hoss?
Jimmy, don't you worry none. You got lots of friends in this town.
Friends that aren't gonna let you down.
Here he comes. Let him in. I really thought they tried to stop you from getting you back in here.
Fulmer's so sure of himself, he figured he didn't have to.
Well, what about Amanda? Did you find out anything from her?
Oh, I sure did. Anyway, I've convinced her she should tell the truth. I thought we had Ridley convinced, and then we got over to Fulmer's, and I don't know. Fulmer's got some strange kind of hold on the man. He's like so much clay in his hands. Anyway, Amanda's still working on him.
Well, do you think she'll get anywhere with him?
Well, if she doesn't, we've got a lynch mob on our hands.
Father, how can I make you understand what I'm saying to you?
I'm on the side of right.
Right. You're just doing what Andy Fulmer wants you to do. That boy's gonna die.
Your sister died too, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Until now, I don't believe I really cared. But now I know you don't care.
How dare you speak like that to me?
I dare speak like that because it's the truth.
Your sister brought disgrace on us.
And it isn't really Jimmy Chang you're trying to punish, is it? You're trying to punish Sally. Father, was her death really an accident? Or did you pull that trigger on purpose? Is that why you're afraid to talk?
Amanda, as God is my witness, it was an accident.
Then go out there and tell them. Oh, Father, we've both lied to ourselves. We never really believed the things we said about Sally. And if we let Jimmy Chang die, we'll really be condemning Sally. You and I, Father, we're the guilty ones.
I'm just interested in doing what's right for our city.
Are we gonna let those Cartwrights stand between us and what we know's right?
I say let's rush him and get him out of that jail. Come on!
Huh? Here they come.
Let's put a few shots over their heads. That should scatter them.
Stop that! Stop it, everybody! Stop!
Ridley. Yeah, looks like she convinced him.
Stop it, everybody! Stop!
Get in here, JR. Those Cartwrights will kill you.
It isn't the Cartwrights this town needs to fear, Fulmer.
Ah, JR, we understand each other.
That won't work again, Andy. I'm going to tell Sheriff Halstead the truth.
Now, we've been through this before.
I'm going to tell him the truth.
Get him. Fool. Why did you kill him?
What? What are you saying? You told me to kill him.
Murderer. You filthy murderer. Get him! He just killed my best friend!
Jesse, drop the gun.
Father! Father! My father wanted to tell you something. I know what it was, because I was part of it. We lied on the witness stand this morning. My sister's death was an accident. Jimmy Chang didn't have any gun. My father killed Sally. That's what he wanted to tell you.
Well, Fulmer, 3 dead. You satisfied?
You trying to make a murderer out of me, Ben?
You try to murder this town. You still want this man for your mayor?
Hold on, wait a minute, folks. Hold it. This is a terrible thing that's happened here today. And we sure don't want anything like that to happen here again. Folks, listen, you know how I stand, what I believe in. I just want what's right for Virginia City.
I'm afraid you're at liberty, Mr. Chang.
Come on, Jimmy, didn't you hear him? Or don't tell me you done got to where you like it in here.
But what? But what? I thought you were the one who had the fine ideas about going to college.
Yes, I do, but...
Well, if you're going to go to college, Jimmy, you got to bust out of this jail before you can start. It's all right, Jimmy.
You can go home. It's all over now. Go on.
Go in the house, Mary. Stay where you are.
You have been served with a notice of eviction. Why are you still here?
This is our house, mister. We got no other place to go.
That is your concern, not ours.
You can't go in there!
Leave her alone!
Sounds like coming from the south, Paul. The Logan place.
Put up the sign. You'll be off this land by nightfall, Senora.
Is he badly hurt?
He's dead. They killed him.
Mary, what happened? What was the fight about?
They said we were trespassing. They said, Senora, be off this land by nightfall.
Senora. Sounds like Don Antonio. Let's go.
Stay where you are, little Joe. Mary, the law's on their side.
Andy and me, we homesteaded this place. 5 years he sweated in these fields. Now we got a family coming. I'm not going.
Mary, come with us. We'll be back. I promise. Give me a hand, boys.
You boys stay here.
Ben, Adam? I've come to report a killing. Andy Logan has been shot down in cold blood.
As a matter of accuracy, he was killed in self-defense. Sheriff Hawkins has all the facts.
That's right, Ben. Senior Logan has already made a complete report on behalf of his men.
Well, did he report that it was his men who committed the murder?
There's a difference, Ben. Logan was given a notice of eviction, so he had no legal right to be on that land. And a couple of witnesses saw him attack Senior Luger's man.
All he was doing was defending what was his.
There's no evidence of that.
Well, there's Mrs. Logan's word.
Do you think that'll stand up in court, Adam?
Stand up in court. They talk of lawlessness of the West. Well, this is lawlessness backed up by law. They're evicting families, throwing them out of their homes, killing men, and you protect them.
Now, keep your shirt on, Ben. I don't like this any better than you do.
But this is not really your fight, Senor Cartwright. Why do you insist on interfering?
Interfering? Of course it's our fight. You're trying to take part of our land, too.
Technically speaking, yes. But although the De La Cuesta land grant takes in a few hundred acres of Ponderosa property, it is such a small section of your great rancho, you will hardly miss it.
We happen to value every foot of our property, Senor Luga.
Your pardon, senor. It is the property of my niece. Perhaps she will be gracious enough to permit you to retain it, if your attitude is cooperative.
Well, you know what you can tell your niece.
Some respect, sir. You are talking about Isabella Maria Inez y Castro de la Cuesta, descendant of one of the oldest and noblest families in Spain.
Sanchez, you are becoming quite amorous.
For the noble Isabella de la Cuesta. Why not?
Why don't you knock?
Since when do you require privacy? One man meeting another in your presence. It's a common thing. Get out.
My respects, dear lady.
Sanchez, the darling of the barroom girls. And now he has you.
Please do not give me one of your lectures. I am tired of being cooped up in this hotel room.
But this room is much better than you're used to, my dear. These fine things, these flowers.
For entertaining someone like Sanchez, I don't need them. I am Isabella de la Cuesta. Is that not right?
Yes, that is right.
Then I refuse to remain a minute longer in this carpeted prison.
Just a few more days. Everything is going beautifully. Don't spoil it.
How could I spoil it?
Everybody is expecting Isabella de la Cuesta to be a great lady. And whatever you are, my dear, well, you know your weaknesses.
When the time comes, I will be as much a lady as anyone.
I've spent years of my life on this project, tracing the land grant and then tracing you. I won't let you destroy it now. You understand?
Why, you mean this Luca can just come in and throw homesteaders off their land and there's nothing we can do about it?
Well, the Spanish land grants go back hundreds of years. Mexico recognizes them, we recognize them, and the De La Cuesta claim has been examined and validated by the Territorial Land Office. Apparently it's in perfect order.
I would suppose it wasn't all in perfect order.
Well, then we could go to court and try to stop them. The records of the Spanish land grants are kept in Monterey, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe worth looking into.
Paul, would you like for us to ride down there and check on it?
Yeah. Yeah, you and Joe. First thing in the morning. Check everything on file. Get a complete history of the Della Cuesta family. Meanwhile, Adam and I will file an action in Judge Blankney's court in the name of the Carson Valley settlers and ourselves.
Well, what chance do you think we stand there?
Well, very little, I suppose, if Isabella Della Cuesta is actually the true and rightful heiress.
Well, there's still one more thing we could do.
What's that?
Talk to the great lady herself. After all, no one's seen her or talked to her except Senor Luger.
What good will that do? You don't think she's going to help us?
Well, how do we know till we find out?
Well, here's hoping we can prove that Isabella de la Cuesta is not Isabella de la Cuesta.
All right, Bill, where'd you put her?
What are you talking about, Adam?
The great lady. Senorita de la Cuesta, or whatever she calls herself. What room's she in?
Can't tell you that, Adam. I've got orders.
You also got friends.
Room 33.
Thanks.
Very, very, very nice, Rosita. How about a drink?
You must be mistaken. The name is not Rosita.
No? What is it, then?
Go away from me.
Look, Rosita, you wouldn't happen to be that woman that everybody in town is talking about, would you? The one that's claiming all that land?
Let go of me.
Come on, just a couple of hundred. Nobody has to know the name is Rosita.
You are wasting your time. The name is Isabella de la Cuesta. Go away.
You don't get off that easy.
All right, let her go.
Well, now you just get out of here, mister. This is none of your business.
Well, now I'm making it my business.
Well, you make tracks and I'll cut you.
Now you can leave now. Exciting place.
Is he hurt?
No, he'll get over it.
I appreciate your fighting for me. It was not your fight.
But you are my fight, Senorita de la Cuesta.
Oh. Why? Who are you?
My name's Cartwright. Adam Cartwright.
Oh, yes, I've heard my uncle talk about you. It seems you are giving him some trouble.
Oh, I hope to give him a lot of trouble.
Then why did you help me?
Gentleman always helps a lady.
At least you consider me a lady.
And a very beautiful one.
Well, in that case, perhaps you would walk me back to my hotel.
It'll be a pleasure. I believe the lady's in room 33.
I have the key.
Come in.
Your lady is full of surprises.
Well, at least I know she's not with you, huh?
See, but she's not alone. The one they call Adam Cartwright, he's with her.
What?
You want me to,
No. What would we gain?
Well, she could be telling him certain things, huh?
Is that what worries you, Sanchez? Or are you maybe a little jealous, huh?
Don Antonio, I work for you. But if you make fun of me, I'll kill you.
Oh, kill for her. Don't be a fool. No, just keep an eye on her. And let me know when this young Cartwright leaves. Then I'll have a talk with our little lady.
I'm glad that you like the wine of my native country. Let me refresh your glass.
Oh, I like your wine very much. Senorita de la Cuesta.
Now begins the Inquisition.
Call it that if you like.
No, I don't like. I think it's a very ugly word.
Ugly? Then what do you call throwing people off their land?
Is it their land or mine?
It's theirs, by the work and sweat they put into it.
And do you hold your land by sweat or by a deed of trust?
By both. Tell me, Senorita, when did you first discover you were the heiress to the De La Cuesta grant?
When my uncle Don Antonio found me and told me.
And where did he find you? I only ask because I found you in a cantina. And believe me, no Spanish lady ever behaved the way you did.
You were of service to me in the cantina, Mr. Cartwright. But that does not give you the right to pry into my private affairs. You know, we could be friends.
Could we?
Mm-hmm. No. When a man kisses me, he has to have his mind on love, not on business. Adios.
Hasta luego, senorita.
At least you have learned to knock.
Of course. You've had a visitor?
That is my business.
Young Cartwright. Where did you meet him?
That is also my business.
It's mine also. The Cartwrights are our main opposition. They will do everything they can to stop us.
Supposing we had the Cartwrights on our side.
possible.
Supposing we had one of the Cartwrights on our side.
Isabella, you have learned to handle men to perfection.
Thank you. But then, of course, I didn't have much choice.
Adam, well-bred Spanish ladies don't usually spend their time in a saloon.
I know. I thought the same thing myself. I went back to the hotel with her and had a glass of wine.
Oh, good, good, good. Did you find out anything?
Yeah. One thing, she's quite a beautiful woman.
Well, we knew that. What else?
She's very sensitive about her past.
Uh-huh.
Won't talk about it at all.
Adam, you may be heading in the right direction.
Maybe so, but I don't know how happy I am about it.
Why not? It was your idea.
Yeah, I guess it was. But she's not exactly the kind of woman I thought she'd be.
Adam, this is the woman who's trying to grab all that land.
Is she? Or is it Senor Luga?
Well, what's the difference? They're both in it together. Why are you defending her?
Well, look, I'm not defending her. I'd just like to know more about her. Anything wrong, senorita?
I'm tired. I've had enough of riding. I don't like it.
Why, I thought all Spanish ladies knew how to ride.
Well, I am out of practice. Please let us rest a while. Why did you bring me out today? Just to find out if I could ride?
Well, there's something about you, Isabella.
Is there? What is it?
Well, it isn't nobility, I'll tell you that.
Then what is it?
It's...
Adam, why do we have to be on different sides?
Maybe we don't. Come on, there's something I want to show you.
But I'm very happy here.
It's very important.
What is this place?
Well, it's part of your holdings. I think you ought to get to know it.
Is this the time?
Well, why not? You not only have land, you have buildings, too, see? Man and woman used to live here. I understand a child was on the way.
So they will live somewhere else.
The woman and the child, maybe. The man's dead. As a matter of fact, he died exactly where you're standing now. He was murdered by Sanchez.
They never told me.
He won't be the last to die either. They're trying to evict settlers all over the valley. There'll be lots of fighting, lots of widows.
Then let them not fight.
Only you can stop it.
Oh, no, Adam. You cannot blame that on me. I do not want people to get hurt, and I do not want them to get killed. But I have to think of myself, too. They cannot have what is mine.
Well, you know you'll never enjoy this land. There'll be too much blood on it.
So, Don Antonio, the southern section is all clear of settlers.
Good, good. Now you can start on the north section.
Yes, who are you?
The name is Smith. High Card Smith.
Yes?
I'm an old friend of Rosita's.
Show the gentleman in, Sanchez.
Come in.
Now, what is this about Rosita?
I used to know Rosita in San Francisco. I figured you wouldn't want the news to get around.
But we have nothing to hide.
Well, that might not go so well in court, senor. After all, people are liable to get all mixed up between Rosita Morales and Isabella de la Cuesta.
I see. You want to avoid confusion, hmm?
That's a very good way of putting it.
Clarity is a laudable aim.
You're a very generous man. Very generous indeed, sir. You know, I want to tell you something. Just as long as you keep scratching my back, I'll keep scratching yours.
Thank you, senor.
Gracias.
De nada.
Adios.
He'll be back, senor.
Yes, I know. Unless something happens to him first, eh?
You expecting trouble, Mr. Cartwright?
No, not really, Hobson.
What are you doing, Pa?
I'm getting ready, just in case.
Well, I thought we decided there wouldn't be any fighting.
Well, if the settlers decide to fight against their evictions, I'm not going to stand by and watch them get shot at.
Did you talk to him?
I talked to them. But I don't think they'll stand for much more pushing around. And neither will I.
Well, now, there's just a chance that there may not have to be any pushing around.
Why?
Well, I went riding with our Senorita de la Cuesta this afternoon.
Huh? What happened?
I took her out to the Logan place.
Did she like it?
I told her what Senor Luga's men had done. I think she was honestly upset about what happened out there.
That's nice, Adam. That's real nice. Was she upset enough to call off her hired killers?
Well, if it ain't the great lady's knight in shining armor.
And what do you want here?
Just a few words, friend. The name is Smith, High Card Smith. You must be the main Cartwright, huh?
If you have something to say, say it.
Hospitality. Western hospitality, friend. You know, as a matter of fact, everybody in Virginia City has been very inhospitable towards me. Especially at the poker tables.
What are you selling?
The history of Isabella de la Cuesta. Mr. Cartwright? Well, her name is Rosita Morales. She used to be a barroom girl and a dancer in a cheap waterfront dive in San Francisco.
And just how do you know that?
Son, I was there.
I'll bet you were.
Just a minute. Just a minute, Adam. That's what we wanted to find out, isn't it? You know who her family was?
Family. A comanchero, Pedro Morales. He runs a little store in a dirty little spot a few miles south of here called Los Altos.
I want you to stay in Virginia City till that trial comes up.
You know I can't do that.
Make it worth your while.
All right, friend. But don't you try to find me. I'll find you. I'll find you often.
Now we know who our great lady is. Well, I'm going to get some fresh clothes. And then you and I are riding into Virginia City. We're going to see Luga, and we're going to tell him exactly what we know, and we'll put an end to this thing right now.
I think we better keep our little appointment with Senor Luga.
I was just riding. I need a glass of wine for refreshment.
Try the saloon.
You wouldn't deny a friend a glass of wine, huh?
Get out of here.
Oh, what's on your lips is sweeter.
Let go of me.
Perhaps you prefer young Cartwright, huh?
Go away.
Still good, huh?
No, go away.
You're surprised, Senor Cartwright, huh? To see your great lady in a lover's quarrel with one of her servants, huh?
May we have a moment with you, senorita?
Yes. He forced his way in here. You do believe that, don't you, Adam?
I think it's about time this masquerade came to an end. We know who you are. You're Rosita Morales.
Maybe I am, but I am also Isabella de la Cuesta.
Your father's Pedro Morales.
My father is not Pedro Morales. He bought me from some Indians after my family was massacred. I was too little to be killed. But soon I became big enough to chase around the shack. So I ran away to San Francisco.
Now, Miss Morales, how can you possibly expect us to believe that kind of story?
Because it is the truth. And if you want to believe anything else, you will have to prove it.
And while we're proving it, more killing, more bloodshed, is that what you want?
I don't know anything about that.
You can put an end to it.
How?
Withdraw your claim to that land. It's the only possible decent thing for you to do.
The decent thing to do. Rosita Morales is not decent, is she? Then Isabella de la Cuesta will not be decent either. But she will be rich.
And how many lives is that worth to you?
Oh, that's enough.
What do you want me to do? Help her? Feel sorry for her? What?
I don't know, Pa, but this is getting us nowhere.
Adam, I think it's up to you to find Morales. And if you can disprove that story of hers, bring him back here.
And if not?
Well, then do whatever you think best. But whatever it is, do it quickly.
All right, Pa. But I don't want to miss anything, so don't start shooting till I get back.
How much do they know about you? They probably go after Morales.
I'll take care of it.
No. No, what can poor Morales do? He can't help us.
I'll be the judge of that.
Don Antonio, I don't want any more killing. Please, no more killing.
Yes, no more killing. Why are you crying? Those Cartwrights, they have an unfortunate effect upon people, huh?
One moment, amigo. Don't turn around. You're not going anyplace.
This will get you nowhere, Sanchez.
No, it will get me your life.
My life? Who sent you, Luga?
No, not Luga. Isabella de la Cuesta.
You're lying.
Why? You think she cares about you?
I don't think she'd send you here to kill me.
You presume too much, senor.
Do I?
Get him out of there.
He's dead. Look, Jack, I'm in a hurry. Tell the sheriff I'll explain this to him later, will you? Come on, wake up. Wake up.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Quién es usted?
Come on,
¿Qué
wake
quiere?
up, wake up.
Why? Who are you? What do you want?
Now listen. I'm looking for a girl named Rosita. What do you know about her?
Rosita. She remember Morales?
She remembers.
A year ago, a man come and ask about her. But he gave me a bottle of whiskey.
Now, what'd you tell him?
Senor, you give me money for whiskey. I tell you more.
What can you tell me that I don't already know?
5 years back, a woman come, very old, from Mission San Jose. She say she looking for a little girl.
Who was the old woman?
Whiskey, senor.
Come on, who was she and who was she looking for?
Whiskey, senor.
Right, all right. Now, who was she and who was she looking for?
Her name was Doña Teresa Esperanza. She was looking for a girl named Isabella Maria de la Cuesta.
Isabella Maria de la Cuesta.
Might have known I'd find you here again.
I was just sitting here thinking.
You mean getting drunk?
Watch your tongue, senor. I don't want to be hated.
Everyone loves the rich. Hmm?
It's good enough for you, isn't it?
And not you? How are you falling in love with this young Cartwright?
And if I have, what business is that of yours?
Must Must I remind you what we have at stake? Sanchez is dead.
And how did he die? Killing again? I told you I didn't want any more bloodshed.
Suppose they bring old Morales back, and the Cartwrights bribe him. They will force a hearing immediately, and anything could happen.
But if I am Isabella, what are you afraid of?
Justice is nebulous. Everyone is behind the Cartwrights. They love them in this town.
Is it so bad to be loved?
When we are rich, they will love us too.
Howdy, Judge.
Oh, hi, Ben.
Come on in for some refreshment.
I can't, Ben. I'm just rushing back from Carson Valley.
Oh.
But I did want to speak to you for a second. It's about that hearing. Ben, I'm afraid I can't delay it any longer.
Well, Judge Blank now...
Tell me, when do you expect the boys back from Monterey?
Well, they should be back real soon now. It's a long ride over the Sierra.
Yeah, I know. What about Adam? When do you expect him back, Ben?
Well, it should be any day now, maybe tomorrow. Now, I'm counting on you holding off that hearing till he gets back, Judge.
Ben, I can't. I can't hold off any longer. For the good of the people in the community, this thing has to be settled one way or another. Ben, I've got to call that hearing for 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I'll see you then. Come on, boy. Come on.
Paul.
Hello, boys. I'm glad you got back in time.
How much good is it did going?
Why didn't you get the information I sent you for?
We got it, Paul, but that's just the point.
What?
It's just as they called it. That De La Cuesta land grant's as solid as a rock.
The family was given possession of all that land, and what was that word, little Joe?
Perpetuity.
Yeah, by the Spanish king himself. That Senor De La Cuesta must have been quite a feller.
We'll have to wait for Adam.
What good's he gonna do?
He's our only chance now.
It is now 2 o'clock and time for these proceedings to begin.
Your Honor, I would like to make a request.
What is it, Ben?
I've been waiting for my son, Adam. Something has delayed him.
Well, I don't see why that should hold up these proceedings. Your Honor, I think the issue is quite clear. This is obviously a transparent attempt to delay and obstruct justice.
Oh, surely, Your Honor. A few more days could be spared in a matter of such importance to so many people.
A few more days, Your Honor. We've been forced to delay too long already.
Your Honor, I am not opposed to the delay if it will help things.
I think I know what is best for us, my dear.
But if Adam has some information bearing on the case, why should we be afraid to hear it?
Evidence can be falsified. Witnesses have been known to lie.
Oh, to tell the truth, Senor Luga.
This case affects the lives of so many people that I think nothing should be overlooked. Therefore, I hereby adjourn these proceedings until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
It was a very foolish thing you did, my dear.
At this point, all I want is the truth.
Don't be so noble, Isabella. That saloon on the waterfront, it's still there.
They're here. Well, Adam.
Hello, Pa.
How's everything?
All right, outside of a little shooting. Somebody tried to stop us outside of town.
Oh, that's why you couldn't get here yesterday.
Nope, I had another reason. May I present Donna Teresa Esperanza? Donna Teresa, this is my father, Ben Cartwright.
I am honored, Senora.
Thank you.
I'm sorry you had to take such a long journey.
If at last I find my grandniece, no journey will have been too long or too difficult.
Well, may I? I think you will be comfortable here.
Adam, who is she? She's the grand aunt and last living relative of Senorita de la Cuesta.
What about Senor Luga?
Well, he's not her uncle, that's for sure.
Doña Teresa.
Senor Luga,
I did not expect to see you.
I'm sure of that. Otherwise, you would not be here.
Your Honor, this is the witness for whom we've been waiting. This is Donna Teresa Esperanza.
Senora?
The great aunt of Isabella de la Cuesta, the only link to her past, and the sole person able to identify her.
Identify her? Oh, Donna Teresa is an old woman. She hasn't seen Isabella for many years. In fact, since a little child. How could she possibly give a valid identification?
Who is this adventurer to decide on my qualifications? Not so long ago, he dared to visit me and seek to enlist my aid in his evil and corrupt scheme.
What scheme do you refer to, Senora?
His plan for me to vouch for the identity of my grandniece, the last of the De La Cuestas.
Would you be able to identify the girl if you saw her?
Without question.
Very well.
Your Honor, I protest this entire proceeding.
Senor Luga, you are out of order. If you please, Senorita. Senora, this is the girl to be identified. Would you tell us if you know her?
Turn around, young lady. Raise your head, please. The carriage, the tilt of the head, the dark eyes. Your Honor, if I might see this young lady alone, I shall be able to tell you whether she is indeed my grandniece.
That isn't necessary. It is obvious from Doña Teresa's reaction that this is her grandniece.
Your Honor, I would like to talk to this lady in private, as she suggests.
Sheriff, will you clear the room, please?
All right, gentlemen. Step outside.
Doña Teresa. Doña Teresa, is there some way you can identify me?
Some way?
I mean anything definite. I have lived so much of my life with uncertainties.
What is it you seek out of life? Is it riches or power? Do you want to be a great lady?
Is that such a very bad thing to want?
No, nothing at all. But let me tell you about the De La Cuestas. The outstanding characteristic of the De La Cuestas was generosity.
Generosity?
I'm an old lady, and perhaps sentimental, but I know in my heart that the De La Cuesta would have not taken the land from the people who bought it with their blood and sweat.
You seem to know a great deal about the situation. That must have been a very interesting ride you had with Adam Cartwright.
Most interesting.
I know who I am now. Thank you, Doña Teresa. Thank you. Your Honor, there is no need to go on any longer. I am Rosita Morales.
She's lying. What did you do to her? You are Isabella de la Cuesta. Tell her the truth.
Senor Luga, you'll have your share of truth-telling. Come with me.
You fool. You could have had it all. You could have been the richest woman in this country.
Where are you going?
I'm going back where I belong. To San Francisco.
This must have been a difficult thing for you to do, to expose an imposter.
An imposter? What makes you think she's an imposter?
Donna Teresa, is she Rosita Morales or Isabella de la Cuesta?
Who knows?
I got the lay of it just the way you told me, Jeb. It's good forage land, as far as you can see, with a clear path through the Sierras off to the left.
Looks like our luck is running for a change, Billy boy. Desert south, nothing but rock and bramble north. And right in front of us, it's opening up like the Red Sea into the land of milk and honey. Right in front of us.
That's the Ponderosa, Jeb. We can't cut through there. You don't understand, Jeb. That's Cartwright land, far as your eye can see.
You mean they own all that?
Own? Man don't own nothing unless he's willing to die holding on to it.
I worked out this way. I know Ben Cartwright. Why, he'd kill every last one of us before he'd let a sheep set foot on the Ponderosa.
Start bringing up that flock. Now.
I come a long ways with you, Jeb. But I ain't riding against Ben Cartwright for you or nobody.
Start bringing up them sheep, Burton.
I'm pulling out, Jeb. And you ain't got nothing to say can stop me.
Don't appear there's much I can do to stop you either.
No hard feelings, Jeb. But I just ain't gonna ride against Ben Cartwright. That's all.
All right, you two, get them sheep moving. Leave him, Billy. He's past fussing. You got to learn to kill a man once you draw on him.
But I shared second plates with him, Jeb. Just a few hours ago.
Once a thing is dead, you got to get clear of it. The scruffiest hole squirrel knows that.
Sure, Jeb.
You're lettered, ain't you, boy?
Yes, sir. I spell out some.
All right. You read that to me, boy.
And Moses went up from the plains, and the Lord showed him all of the land.
I've been there 40 years myself, just like Moses. But the Lord has finally showed me my land, and I'm gonna take it to myself. I have to kill everything on it and burn it to the root.
There'll be an easy way to make a living than this.
There he is. You know how, don't you?
No.
Marry you a rich gal. Little Joe, you reckon how long it's going to take us to clear out all this stuff out of this drain ditch?
I figured the rate we're going, it'll take us about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Hiya, Pa.
Ah.
Nice. You ever see such a pair of working fools?
Well, Adam, I wish some of that would rub off on you.
Well, now, Pa, the way I look at it, if a man expects to get ahead in this world, he's got to use his brain instead of his back.
Adam, with a place like the Ponderosa, a man has to be able to use both. Now, come on, let's get the boys a hand.
Who'll be over there?
Must be Tucker. I put him out hunting strays.
That don't sound like strays.
Strays, all right, but the two-legged kind.
That was just a warning. Where do you men think you're headed?
Why, we're aiming across the Sierra.
We better find another way. Nobody goes through the Ponderosa. That's Ben Cartwright's orders.
You figuring to stop us all with that gun?
Well, maybe not all of you, but I'll drop the first man that tries to come through here.
How much is Cartwright paying you, mister?
Well, what's that to you?
Is it enough for a man to get himself killed for? Look, we're coming through. Now, you can shoot me if you've a mind to, but as soon as you pull that trigger, you're the same as a dead man. All right, bring him through. And you better get out of the way, mister, before you get yourself trampled.
I warned them, Ben. I give them clear warning.
Well, nobody expects any more, Sam. You've been told you're on Ponderosa land. I'd be obliged if you turned the tails of those sheep and got them off.
Are you, Ben Cartwright? Drummond. Jeff Drummond is my name. We ain't bringing no trouble. We're just looking to pass through on the way to California. No more than that.
Mr. Drummond, I'm sorry. I can't let you take those sheep across the Ponderosa.
You mean you got all this here and you ain't willing for us just to cut through?
That's what I mean.
Why, you got enough land here to parcel out a state of your own, and you're sitting fat right on top of it, ain't you? Let me ask you a question, Mr. Cartwright. What more right have you got to this land than me?
It's mine. That's right enough.
Every inch of this land's deeded in our name, if that's what's bothering you, Mr. Drummond.
Oh, a deed, huh? Why, deed is only a piece of paper. Looks to me like all they got is some scribbling on paper.
It's what backs up the scribbler, Mr. Drummond. That's what counts.
How many of them you count, Billy?
Five, Jeb. Just 5.
Less than we got. Well, there's no cause to draw down. I was just resting. Look, I'm only trying to get passage through to California, and I aim to pay for it too.
Drummond, I don't want any of your money.
Well, it's getting on near to dark. You wouldn't mind if we was to camp here for the night?
Well, all right. But you make sure you're gone by tomorrow morning. Is that understood?
You won't find us here. I promise you that. Yes, sir. You can count on it, Mr. Cartwright. You won't find us here. Here you are, Billy. I saved you a chaw piece without no grizzle.
Well, that's out of your helping, Jeb. You best keep that for yourself.
Oh, I had my fill for tonight, boy. You take it.
Thank you, Jeb.
You know, you could still use fattening up. If you was one of my sheep, rib scrawny like you are, I'd have sold you off for hoof glue before now. You did fatten up some, though. When I first come on you and them wranglers was fixing to string you up, well, you didn't look like no more than a fence post.
You've been mighty good to me, Jeb. I appreciate everything you've done. I only hope I can pay it back sometime.
There'll be a time come, boy. There's always a time. Well, you better get yourself some sleep before morning.
What are we doing, Jeb? Going back?
Well, I don't know yet. I gotta think on it. You see, the way I figured it, we'd have made California just about spring market time. That flock would have been fat and woolly. We'd have got a sight of cash for him. But I don't know. Oh, I've got another blanket for you, boy.
That's Burton's, isn't it?
What difference does it make? Ain't no good to him buried.
I was just asking.
Night, Billy.
Night, Jeb.
Dad, burn it, little Joe. Cut it. Don't pull it.
We wouldn't be having all this trouble if you hadn't gone and lost that chili bowl I always fit on your head.
Just take it easy. It's getting thin enough up there like it is.
Now, keep your head still. Are you still putting that salad oil on your hair?
Hog lard.
Oh. What you so worried about? You ain't gonna look any different when I get done anyway.
Yeah, but I'll feel different. What's the matter? He's doing a good job, ain't he?
Oh, fine.
Yeah. Hey, let me see that mirror.
Well, I got an idea.
Oh, about what, Adam?
Well, I've been thinking. The way the country's growing, and more people coming west, California, we could cut a road across the north section of the Ponderosa.
Not a bad idea. I'll give it some thought.
Well, I'd like to start on it, Pa.
Well, Adam, I said I'd give it some thought. Oh, by the way, tomorrow morning I want you to ride out and see if Drummond and those sheep of his have cleared out.
What if he hasn't?
Well, then we'll make sure he's cleared out.
Why do we have to take the law in our own hands?
Now, we're not taking any law into our own hands. What do you want me to do? Open up the Ponderosa to every scavenger that comes along? Drummond's kind turns the land to dust and then just moves on.
Look, Pa, I'm not saying let Drummond in. But there gotta be people after him. Farmers, traders, homesteaders. Now, what are you gonna do? Take a gun to them, too?
Now, you know that isn't so, Adam. But I will take a gun to Drummond's kind. He'll grab anything he can get his hands on. Now, tomorrow morning, you go out there and see that he's gone. Is that understood?
Yeah. All right, Pa, anything you say.
Come on, roll out! Come on, hustle it up! Come on, we gotta be making tracks!
Want me to get the clock shifted around and hand it out, Jeb? I'll lead out the bell sheep if you want.
I ain't taking them out.
You ain't? You mean we're not crossing the Cartwright line?
No, we're crossing all right. But I've been thinking maybe we won't cross all the way.
You heard what Ben Cartwright said.
Cartwright. I'm through being shoved and hauled by his like. A man takes something, it's his. You gotta start learning that, Billy boy.
Yes, sir. But ain't we taking on a peck of trouble?
Trouble. I'm an old man now, but I once had me a flock of sheep was like looking across a big white sea. I run them from the Snake River in the north to the Mexican border and back. Then the cattle come, and the farmers plowing up the earth. I've been pushed so hard, Billy, there ain't hardly a corner I can squeeze myself into. But I'm through being pushed now. All right, hurry it up, you men, and get that chuck wagon loaded. Them Cartwrights will be after us before it gets much lighter. Billy, you take them two and hang back to ride guard. And if them Cartwrights come tailing us, you let me know.
All right, Jim.
And Billy, you make sure you stop whichever one of them it is.
You mean kill him, Jeb? Is that what you mean?
That's right. And leave them out there like bait to stink a trail for the rest of them.
I can't see doing that to him, Jeb. What they ever done to us?
Why, them Cartwrights would kill us if they got the chance, every one of us. You know that, Billy boy. Now, don't you shed no tears over them Cartwrights. They're the same kind as tried to string you up. Why, they got, and we ain't. And knows that God ain't gonna give it up unless you shake them until their britches pop. I'm telling you, Billy, they'd kill every one of us if they got the chance. Only, they ain't gonna get the chance.
Looks like about as good a spot as any to set up.
Set up for what, Billy? You talking about an ambush?
You just do like I say.
I've been riding with old Jeb for a long time now. I know the way he thinks.
How do you mean, Carter?
That old buzzard. Thinking about killing himself some Cartwrights. Hey, you know I'm right, Billy boy.
You spot yourself up there. Collier, you head on down a ways.
tell you, Billy boy, I don't want to get mixed up in no range war. Not for what we're getting out of it.
You just do like Jeb says.
Well, can't we maybe scare him a little bit?
The Cartwrights? That kind don't scare.
Maybe you feel like having Jeb flay the skin off you for not doing what he says. Jeb says shoot. Shoot to kill.
Hey, Collier, what about all this?
You mean about killing the Cartwright?
I mean about getting strung up for Jeb Drummond.
I don't plan to get strung up for Jed Drummond or nobody. Come on, let's get out of here.
All right, drop the gun.
You win, mister. I lose again.
Keep them bunched over to that side so they don't mill. And get them two moving there.
Gonna make new camp, Jeb?
No, not here. It's too rocky. I'd like to get to that draw up ahead.
Pasture up there, Jeb. That ain't no good for the sheep.
No, not for the sheep it ain't. But for what I got in mind, it's fine. Come on, get them sheep moving. Jeb, what? One of the Cartwrights come upon us unexpected like. Well, did you kill him? Nah, he got Wheeler. There's nothing I could do about it, Jeb. He had position on me. He'd have finished me off, too, if I hadn't got clear. I'll give you a job. I mean to have it done right. Now, instead of the rest of them coming looking for him, he'll tail back and tell them which way we went. Well, maybe it's for the best. If we can get us to that draw ahead of them, might be they get a little surprise, huh, Billy boy? All right, drive 'em! Oh, we run 'em!
Should have run that bushwhacker off for good last night.
Want me to ride into town, tell the sheriff?
I don't need any sheriff. That flock of sheep, he couldn't have gone more than a few miles. We can get rid of them before dark.
Now, wait a minute, Paul. Let the law do it this time.
What's wrong with you, boy? You want to sit here and twiddle your thumbs while Drummond's sheep eat our land bare? By the time the lawyers and the sheriff and the court in Virginia City get through haggling with what should be done, the whole North Pasture will be torn up. Get your guns. We got work to do.
What kind of work, Paul?
Get those sheep off our land.
Now, look, Pa, I don't want you running after Drummond. Now, just settle down.
You going soft, boy?
Paul, you're just as bad as he is.
I'm what?
You and Drummond both think you're a law unto yourselves, and you're not. Without the law, a man's no better than dirt.
Now, you listen to something from me. I cleared that land that Drummond's driving his sheep through. I worked it till my hands cracked open and the sweat blinded my eyes. And I planted that grass, and with the Lord's help, it grew. And I'm not going to let a sheep herder who never did an honest day's work in his life ruin it. Now, you coming with me or not?
All in, Jeb.
That's good. Now it's the Cartwrights who are going to be in open ground. Jeb, you sure you ain't picking off a bigger piece than you can chew?
It's a blind draw, Jeb. You let them come in here, it's us that's gonna be trapped.
Well, if that's what they thought, might turn out just a bit different. It don't matter if they got us trapped, long as we get one of them. Just one. You let them walk in here, what's going to keep Ben Cartwright from killing off the whole lot of us? Of course, Cartwright is the kind of guy that don't shoot unless somebody else fires the first shot. Well, I don't like sitting here like a treed squirrel. I say we get out there and face them straight off. All right, go ahead. Well, what's the matter? You ain't going, are you? Because you ain't smart enough to tackle a man like Cartwright. He'd chew you right up and spit you out on the ground. Any fool can go out and get himself shot dead. If you ain't gonna face him, what are you gonna do? You ever see Injuns go after a herd of buffalo? They dog out the strays one by one. And then pretty soon the rest of them are scared and running over each other. Collier, I want you to take 2 men and hide yourselves up there on that ledge over there. Billy, I want you to get back down the path by the draw there. Because if we split them up, that's where some of them are liable to run for it. Well, sounds good, don't it, boy?
Yeah, I guess so.
That ain't what you're thinking, is it? What are you thinking, boy?
You're asking us to shoot those men down like there's nothing but a bunch of bounty pelts.
Well, sure I am. What's wrong with it?
I didn't say nothing was wrong with it.
That's good. Because I hope you ain't forgetting how I first come on you. Strung up for a horse thief. You didn't do it, but you had a rope around your neck anyways. Well, this ain't no different. And the Cartwrights ain't no different neither. They'll kill you if you give them the chance. Maybe not with a rope, but they'll do it. What are you gaping at? Nothing, Jeb. Well, you get back there where I told you. Now, look, boy. I've been pulling myself through this world for a long time. And when you get right down to it, it's a fact. You got to fight back, whichever way you can, or you just get beat to the ground. All right, get back there where I told you to go.
All right, Jim.
And, boy, remember what I want. I want one of them Cartwrights alive.
Yes, sir.
And put a jacket on, boy. There's a chill coming up.
Well, what do you make of it, Hoss?
I can't figure out why, Paul, but it looks to me like he took them sheep right up into that blind canyon.
That old scavenger. He isn't leaving the Ponderosa at all. He's planted a camp here.
What makes you say that, Pa?
Well, why else would he be heading up into that blind draw? Oh, up there he can protect his flock and have a good chance of standing us off.
There sure ain't no sign of him anywhere else, Paul.
Now, that's the way it appears, except there's no pasture for his sheep in that draw. If he can stand us off, that means we can do the same to him. Starve him out.
Well, why wait for that? Why don't we just ride in, get it over with?
Wouldn't Mr. Drummond love that? The 4 of us bunched up together like so many flies on flypaper? No, we're gonna have to spread out and stay spread. Hoss, you and Joe, you move up on the left side. Adam and I'll ride straight in.
Well, there is another thing we could do.
What's that?
Well, you could stand watch on him while I get the sheriff.
I thought we'd settle that.
Well, we could pin him down like Adam says.
And wait for some judge to serve a paper on him? The court in Virginia City doesn't own the Ponderosa. We do. And if we're not willing to fight to hold on to it, we might as well turn it over to the first settler who feels like staking a claim.
Collier, take your men and move them out into the open. What for, Jeb? We got good position on them Cartwrights right here. Just do like I say. Take those men and move them out in the open. But, Jeb, them Cartwrights will be sitting ducks from here. We could wipe them all out. I don't want to wipe them out. Or maybe just miss wiping them out. I just want one of them Cartwrights alive. Now, you take those men and move them out in the open where they can be seen.
They're all right. We'll ride in slow. Adam will come with me. You boys cover us from the rocks.
want fire, I'll tell you when to shoot. You hold your ground right there. The first one breaks to run, I'll kill him all by myself. I hear you, Cartwright.
My son and I are coming in there. You fire one shot, there won't be a one of you ever comes out of that drawer alive.
I ain't drawing.
Drummond, I ought to let you and your sheep starve.
Looks like I did work myself into a hole, kinda.
And Drummond, you broke your word to me. You're not gonna break it again. I'm gonna give you one last chance to get those sheep out of here.
Maybe we can make ourselves a little deal.
No deal, Drummond. Clear those sheep out.
He don't give a man much space to twist in, does he?
He means it.
Now, either you get out, or you get starved out.
All right, boys. Put down your guns. I'll get my sheep out of here come morning.
You get your sheep out right now.
Sure beats me. Here you own half the world. And me, all I'm asking is the right to drive a few miserable sheep across the corner of your land. You'd think you could do a man that little good. You got a mighty unreasonable old man, boy.
Now, Drummond, get those sheep out now.
All right, boys, you got your orders.
Adam, help me get those sheep on the move.
Hey, you look like a reasonable fella. Maybe we can make us a little deal.
You heard what my father said. All right, you men, let's get 'em moving.
Take cover, men!
Shooting, Paul.
Adam's cut off in there. I've got to get to him.
Paul, you can't make it down there.
Joe!
Yeah, Pa?
I'm going to try to make it up along that ledge.
Paul, you can't make it.
Got Adam in there, I'll make it.
Joe! Yeah, Pa?
That Drummond is behind the wagon.
I can't get a shot at him from here. You're cut off, boy! Throw down your gun! You heard him. Drop it.
Adam! Make for that path behind you.
Come on, Billy, cut him down!
Drop it, kid.
You're gonna kill me, ain't you?
Come on, kid. I said drop it.
Now get out of the way. I can't. I said, get out of the way.
I can't, Jeb. Give me orders.
Cover me! Drop that gun and put up your hands. All right. Now come on down here. Cartwright! Cartwright, can you hear me? You call your men off or I'll kill your boy right now. Joe! Horse! Hold your fire. All right, now clear out.
You're still trapped in that hole, Drummond?
Am I? You got yourself an empire, ain't you, Mr. Cartwright? Is it worth your boy's life? Well, is it?
What do you want, Drummond?
You hear that, Billy boy? What I want, Mr. Cartwright? Ain't that what you said? Well, I'll tell you flat out. First off, I'm gonna run my sheep across your land. And I'm gonna graze them till they're full enough to bust. And your son is gonna be with me every step of the way. And if you try stopping me, I'm gonna put a bullet right in the back of his skull. It's been a long ways to here, Mr. Cartwright. A long ways and a lot of time. And if you got any doubt about my meaning what I say, well, you just make your play.
All right, Drummond. I can't stop you. But you listen to me, and you listen good. If you put a scratch on my boy, I'll find you, and I'll kill you. If I have to follow you clear to hell.
Paul, we gotta do something.
Maybe Adam was right. Maybe we should have called the sheriff in the first place. I don't know.
He was right. My fault.
Oh, Paul. You know we don't blame you for nothing.
It's just the way things turned out. Hoss and I would have done the same thing if it were up to us.
That's right.
I made Adam do it my way. I let Drummond outsmart me.
Paul, you heard little Joe. Any of us would have done the same thing.
I couldn't have done it any differently. Couldn't just invite him in and ask him to make himself and his sheep at home in the best pasture.
Paul, we know you couldn't do any such thing. But don't blame yourself.
Should have thrown him and his sheep right off the property right away. I was soft.
Paul, we've all learned our lesson. From now on, we'll know better than to try to fight this sort of thing ourselves. We'll go for a sheriff.
You mean from now on, the Cartwrights don't fight their own battles anymore? Is that what you're saying? From now on, whenever we get into any kind of trouble, we have to go begging for help?
Not begging. It ain't begging.
Well, then what is it if it isn't begging?
It's asking. It's asking like other folks do when their rights are violated, Paul. It's asking folks whose sworn duty it is to uphold the law to come and help us. Paul, ain't that what you always tried to teach us?
Pa, you know I've always wanted us to take care of our own troubles. But this time they've got Adam. I just don't think there's anything else we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you two saddle up. Ride into town, tell the sheriff what's happened.
I think I can go faster by myself.
Hoss. You and I, we're riding into Drummond's camp. I got an idea how to keep Drummond busy till the sheriff gets there. I don't trust him, for then I can see him.
Yes, sir.
All set, Jeb.
You look at them sheep?
They're resting and quiet.
I bet they ain't felt as good in their bellies in a month of Sundays, grazing on all this nice, fat Cartwright grass.
Sure is good pasture, Jeb.
You know something, Billy? I've been thinking there ain't nothing we can find in California as good as we got right here. Now, is there?
Well, I guess not, Jeb.
Good land, lots of it. Why, we can raise ourselves the biggest, fattest flock of sheep in the whole country right here. And I'm gonna take it, Billy. All of it.
How are you gonna do that?
I knew that Providence would show me a way.
Him? You mean young Cartwright?
Mm-hmm. Before I'm done with him, Ben Cartwright is going to be begging to give us the Ponderosa to get his son back. You remember one thing, Billy. You catch a man where he's soft, and you can most always squeeze anything you want out of him. You better take care of him. I don't want nothing to happen to him just yet.
I'll take care of him.
Yes, sir, Billy. There ain't nothing at all in California we ain't got more of right here. Say, you must be clean hungry. Eat some of them beans before the cold. See you in the morning, Billy.
Night, Jeb.
Night.
Brought you some beans. I can't untie you. Jeb wouldn't favor that.
It's all right.
You could have killed me yesterday when you had the chance.
Guess I could.
If you had, you wouldn't be here like this now.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Why'd you do it then? Why'd you kill me when you had the chance?
I don't know. Just couldn't.
That ain't like Jeb said. I mean about what you and your pa'd do to us.
Oh, what'd he say we'd do to you?
Kill us. First crack out of the barrel.
How long you been with Drummond?
Oh, a year. Maybe a little more. I met him when I first left off farming and took to the road. Wasn't exactly like I met him. Some drunk cowhands was gonna hang me up for stealing a pinto. But I never done it.
How old were you?
19. I guess that's how it happened. Well, I didn't know much then. But like now. I bought the horse off a peddler fella. But I never had sense enough to get no papers for it. Just dumb, trusting like.
Now he's taught you not to trust anybody, huh?
Jeb saved my life.
That doesn't mean you have to live the way he does.
I owe him. But I guess you wouldn't know what it feels like to have a rope strung around your neck. Not with a regular family and living the way you do. No, sir. Old Jeb, he just come by and scattered them trail hands off.
And you think he did it for you? Haven't you been around him long enough to know he doesn't do anything for anybody except himself?
That don't make no difference. Oh, I guess it weren't so much to save me as much as old Jeb just got it in for cattlemen and cowhands and that like. He's bitter in his ways. Like my pa was.
What happened to him?
He got himself killed fighting over a few acres of bare, rocky ground back in Kentucky. Wasn't like I knew him much, him or anybody. Mostly I just sort of shifted around from one kin to the next.
Doesn't mean you have to stay with him.
He's always done good by me.
Listen, he's no better than something that crawls after carrion. You want to plunder your piece of land bad enough to have his taint rub off on you?
You talk mighty big, don't you, mister? That's 'cause you got it all. A family and regular living and all this good, rich land to hang on to. All I got in this world is Jeb Drummond. You remember that, mister. I got nothing in this world but Jeb Drummond.
Jeb, two men on horses. Looks like the Cartwrights. Hold on, what happened?
I left my gun, Drummond.
He ain't left his. Get that gun, Billy boy.
Adam.
Hello, Pa.
All right. Now suppose you dismount and say your piece.
Drummond, let my son go. Take me instead.
You? Did I hear correct?
You hear correct.
What are you figuring?
You want a hostage. Well, I'll be a hostage.
No, Pa.
Well, Drummond, what about it?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't care much which of you Cartwrights I hold as hostage. Because I got me another notion.
What's your notion, Drummond?
I've been thinking they had nothing in California as good as you got here. So I'm going to take it. All of it. And claim it as my own.
How you figuring on doing that, mister? You planning on killing us all?
Ask your old man. I think he knows. Billy boy, give me that paper. Yes, sir, Mr. Cartwright. I've got it all right here. A deed to 50,000 acres of your land. Now all you got to do is sign it and make it all legal.
Drummond, do you think that my signing a ridiculous scrap of paper like that is going to make anything legal?
Well, the way I see it, I'm willing to take the gamble. Because I ain't got nothing to lose anyhow. And you got something mighty important to gain.
What's he got to gain?
You. Because unless he signs this deed, I'm going to kill you and let your body rot where it drops.
Adam, there's something you ought to know. I sent little Joe to town for the sheriff.
Thanks, Pa. It looks like I've been wrong all along.
No, you weren't wrong. And Drummond, with the sheriff coming, how do you think you're going to get away with all this?
Well, like I said, I'm willing to take the chance.
Yes, that's what you said. What about you? You willing to take a gamble, too?
Whatever Jeb says is good enough for me.
You too?
I'm willing.
Look at him. Do you think he cares if you get skinned and hooked like some coyote meat, as long as he can use you to get what he's after?
All right, you had your say, mister. Now, do you want to sign this deed, or do you want to bury your son?
Don't sign it, Pa. He won't shoot.
That's the difference between you and me, Drummond. I'm not a gambling man. Give me that paper.
Pa, don't. 50,000 acres, it isn't worth it.
Isn't it?
Well, that's a mighty fine-looking signature. Much better than I could have done. But then, I never owned 50,000 acres of prime land before, neither.
And you don't own it now.
Don't move!
Adam!
I was gonna make it an even deal. The land for your son. But it looks like I can't trust any of you Cartwrights. There's only one way to deal with you. Give me the gun, Billy.
You can't just kill him, Jeb.
Can't I? You just watch.
I ain't done nothing for you to kill him over, Jeb.
You give me that gun!
But, Jeb...
Look, how many times I've tried to beat it into you, Billy. If you want something in this world, you've got to get it whichever way you can. But you go right on being woman soft. Maybe I should have let them wranglers string you up for stealing them 3 pintos.
3 pintos? Jeb, how'd you ever know they was looking for 3 of them?
Well, they said, I guess.
No, they never. They never said nothing after you came.
Well, that don't make no difference, boy.
Don't it? Well, I think it does, Jeb. 'Cause you killed them straight off. I thought it was to save me, but that wasn't it, was it? Well, you knew there's 3 pintos, 'cause you was the one that stole them and sold them off yourself. I guess I really don't owe you nothing, do I, Jeb?
Now, you know that ain't right, Billy boy. I mean, maybe I did lie to you about them pintos, but I always done good by you, and I taught you things.
Sure. Like shooting a man in the back, like grabbing and thieving. Well, I learned good, Jeb. But I ain't learning no more.
Now, look, Billy. Billy, you're like a son to me. The only reason I want this land is because I'm going to leave it to you. I promise it.
No, Jeb.
You give me that gun! How many times I tried to beat it into you, Billy?
Jeb.
I should have let him hang you. You no good, thieving, dirty double-crosser. Shoot him, Kaya. Kill him.
Hey, Pa, how come Hopsing got all this vinegar?
Sorry, Paul, you didn't have no rutabagas.
Guess I'll be leaving. Sure do thank you for all your help. For the shirt, little Joe.
You're welcome.
Where'll you go now?
I don't know exactly.
Billy, do you ever think of taking up homesteading?
You mean a place of my own? Yeah. Sure, but...
Well, we got a lot of open land here in the Ponderosa. I figure that Adam here could probably help you pick out a good piece of it.
You mean a piece of your land?
Well, we got a lot of people coming out this way. I guess we'll have to make some room for them all, including the law.
Well, Mr. Cartwright, I sure will try to live up to your faith in me.
Well, Billy, you better, because if I catch you stepping out of line just once, why, I'll...
You'll go get the sheriff.
বাড়ির কাছে ভরা নদী শেষে জোয়ার জোয়ার ভাটা শেষ হলে শুকনো বালুর চর বাড়ির কাছে ভরা নদী শেষে জোয়ার জোয়ার ভাটা শেষ হলে শুকনো বালুর চর ঢেউয়ের তালে তুলতে চলে আমার নাই চার চল নৌকা ডুবি খেলবো খেলা আজ দুজনায় চল নৌকা ডুবি খেলবো খেলা আজ দুজনায় ফাগুন মাসের আগুন জ্বলা ভরা বসন্ত ঘুমিয়ে থাকা মনটা আমার বড়ই অশান্ত ফাগুন মাসের আগুন জ্বলা ভরা বসন্ত ঘুমিয়ে থাকা মনটা আমার বড়ই অশান্ত প্রেমের গাঙে সাঁতার কাটলে হাতটা আমার ধর চল নৌকা ডুবি খেলবো খেলা আজ দুজনায় চল নৌকা ডুবি খেলবো খেলা আজ দুজনায় ভালোবাসার পুরুষ পেয়ে অস্থির আমি গেছি হয়ে ভালোবাসার পুরুষ পেয়ে অস্থির আমি গেছি হয়ে সারা অঙ্গ জুড়ে আমার এসেছে ফাগুন চল নৌকা ডুবি খেলবো খেলা যে দুজনা